Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. It's Saturday. Welcome to Horror Hangout. You're in the gory hole with me, Gory B Movie, and let's talk about horror stuff. So, first, same thing we do every week. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully you can. Everything is not too loud, loud enough. All that jazz. Do, 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 do. Ah. So let's check in what's been going on the channel this week. So we're doing pretty good. We're on that road to 2K. Last I checked, I need to go check right now. Last I checked, yay, you can hear me. We're at 1,933 subscribers. So absolutely, if you haven't already subscribed and you like what you see, subscribe. And be sure to hit the bell because sometimes I just do pop-up streams. And if you don't want to miss that, the bell will let you know. And yeah, so the channel is still not monetized, so you cannot send super chats. But if you want to help it get monetized, I have a ton of playlists on this channel that you can watch if you like horror stuff, and you probably do because you're here. So, in Horror Hangout, we don't really have a topic. We just hang out. I kind of focus on you guys and what you're saying. And you guys can ask me questions, and I always like to ask you guys a question. So my question this week, or my topic this week, is what movies do you think are best for introducing horror noobs? So not necessarily people who are like, I want to see something really messed up, but people who are a little maybe trepidatious about stepping their toe into them horror waters. So we're talking like kids, young people who haven't seen too many horror movies, but, they're kind of interested. So we're talking about movies that maybe would be good for those people. Sort of a horror 101, if you will. But first, let's check in with the chat. So let's see, who's here today? Dun, 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 dun. Ariel, hey! And Maverick Media, he has a great channel. Lion Queen, nice to see you again. Robin's here. Elisa, hi. And the Movie Massacre, hey Rich. Hey Beth. And Adam Ward, nice to see you. And Dice Roland, hey. So, let's see if I can get this working here. Just a second. Okay. Ah, nuts. Do the dogs want to come inside? They didn't want to come inside, and now I think they do want to come inside. All right, I'm going to give you guys, like, 2 shakes to just hang out for a second, because I have to go get the dogs. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. right, guys. Come on. Come on, it's horror hangout time. You're missing it. All right. Rocky, come on. All right. Okay, we've got dogs. We've got people in the chat. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. Dun, dun, dun. So let's see. Now, I saw something from Dice. So I really like Dice's suggestion here. She says Scooby-Doo feature films, especially Zombie Island. I think that's a really good one because Zombie Island is a good segue. Like if they like Scooby-Doo, if they like mysteries, if they like spooky stuff, if they like Halloween, Zombie Island, if you discount the sequel, the monsters are real. So it's a nice little segue into horror. And my son, Lols, is a massive Scooby-Doo fan. And that was certainly how I introduced him to horror. The first movie he ever watched all the way through was Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, the live action one. So that definitely perked his interest in all things spooky and Halloween, and most definitely in mysteries. And mystery has always been a very big part of horror. There's that whodunit. There's the like unmaskings and Scream. It's a part of a lot of horror movies. So definitely if somebody likes mysteries, I think they are in a good position to enjoy horror. So let's see, what other qualities do you want to look for in somebody who may potentially could be your new horror buddy? Absolutely, if your buddy likes mysteries, that's a good person who might enjoy horror, even if they've never seen a horror film. If they like science fiction, because there's a lot of horror science fiction crossover, you can do something like Alien, or if that's too much, you can always start with I guess less scary alien films like Critters. Let's see. If they like Halloween, obviously it's a spooky season. If they like Halloween, people are also, they tend to be more accepting of horror in the Halloween season because people want to watch spooky stuff then. So that's a great time to introduce people into horror. And a lot of people don't think of this one, but if they like comedy, comedy is such a part of so many horror films. I've introduced so many friends to horror films because I'm like, hey, it's really funny. That's how I've introduced friends to movies like Army of Darkness or Shaun of the Dead. If they like comedy, you can usually ease them into horror that way. And a lot of those movies are a little more, I guess, easy for people who are not traditionally into horror films to get into. All right, let's see what else you guys got. And yeah, Robin said, pardon me. Robin says that's a big one. You got slasher, zombies, dolls, depends what you're into. So absolutely, I think the key with introducing anybody to a horror movie is what are they into? Like, there's a horror movie for just about everything, except for there's not a horror pug movie, and that makes me very sad because my brother loves pugs. But there is a horror movie for just about anything. So if somebody is very interested in dolls, if they're interested in, you know, if they're interested in witchcraft, if they're interested in clowns, there's a horror movie for just about anything. And you're more apt to be able to get them, you know, lured into horror if you play into what they already like. If they're a Walking Dead fan, but they don't really watch horror movies, that's a great place to start. Start with your zombie movies. All right, and you know, with this conversation, I think that's also good to talk about what shouldn't you recommend. And I think the mayor is absolutely right. Don't start them off with a Serbian film. Don't start your kids off with it. Don't start your friends who are not into horror with it. And you know, there are exceptions. I've done this panel about introducing kids to horror a lot at Crypticon. And I remember one year there was these really sweet kids who were there with their parents, and they're like, oh, I love Saw. That's what you should introduce kids to. And absolutely, you know, those kind of people, you can pretty much just jump them in about anywhere except for a Serbian film. So we're talking more about people who might be a little skittish about horror. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they think that all horror movies are the same. Maybe they just never gave horror a chance. For whatever reason, they're just not all that familiar with it. So, yeah, no Serbian film for sure. Dun, 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 dun. Dice says, only if you want to turn them away from horror forever. Yes, absolutely. If you start them off with something too intense right away, they're going to be much more likely to not give horror a chance. And you don't want that, because we all need more horror buddies. But Fairpoint disagrees. You should definitely recommend Serbian Film. I remember a kid being in that movie. So that's something that's worth exploring too. A lot of people think that because a kid's in a movie that it might be more easy for kids to watch, but there's a big difference between movies like The Goonies or Monster Squad and movies like The Omen. So a kid does not necessarily mean you're safe. There are some pretty effed up movies that have kids in them. David Price is here! Guys, it's David Price, the co-producer of Leprechaun, the director of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the director of Children of the Corn Port 2. Hi, David! Yay! Dun dun dun. Okay, so Beth says The Lost Boys would be one I have always recommended. That is a great one. It's a great slumber party movie. It's got a lot of comedy. And a lot of horror movies do a great job of merging genres. So you get a little bit of everything, which is why I love horror so much. So The Lost Boys, you've got a killer soundtrack. You've got some sexy vampires. You've got, young people, kids in it. You've got comic relief. You've got everything. That movie is so much fun. Absolutely great suggestion from Beth. Adam has a very good point. I usually find out what genre they like and find a genre that blends with what they normally watch. So that's really good. Even if they like, stuffy Victorian dramas. I've never watched Bridgerton, but it seems like that kind of thing. Things like The Crown. My dog's favorite movie is The Lodgers. It's a stuffy Victorian British film. He loves that movie. He watched the whole thing beginning to end. Wouldn't even let me pet him. He was so into that movie. So yeah, if you look at what they like, and then you find something that can just ease them in. This isn't easy. This is more like yanking them in, but I may be more assertive than you, and that's okay. Okay, so Rich says kids. For kids, Once Bitten, that's a good one. Ernest Scared Stupid, that's great. Gremlins and Saturday the 14th, those are all really good. And we talked last week about some messed up kids movies. They're kids movies, but they're really scary. Movies like Return to Oz. We talked about Watcher in the Woods. Another one, Something Wicked This Way Comes. That movie creeped me out so badly when I was a kid, but it was fun. It wasn't too scary that it's going to scar you for life, but it's just a little tease. Something else I want to talk about too is you can't trust the rating system. The rating system is horribly flawed. The rating system will go really hard on some ridiculous things. If there's an LGBTQ plus relationship in it, they're going to be a lot harder on that for the exact same scene with a heterosexual couple. It's ridiculous. Don't trust the rating system. Let's look at some very popular PG movies. Jaws, Poltergeist. Those are actually pretty tame, and I think Jaws and Poltergeist are reasonably good for introducing someone to horror. Then you get into movies that are PG-13, like The Grudge, The Ring. Those movies will mess you up. Those movies can scar you for life. I do not know why those movies are PG-13. Those are very scary movies. I was scared of The Ring, and I saw it as an adult. So yeah, you can't just look at it and be like, well, it's PG-13. Because I can see a lot of 13-year-olds. That might be a little too much for them. And likewise, I can think of plenty of R movies that, in my opinion, aren't that much. I saw The Breakfast Club as a kid. It's rated R, but then you also know your friends and you know your kids. So that plays into it too. I did say I'll be right back, but I did come back. My dogs had to come in. Look, there's Brocky. Once Bitten is so good. Once Bitten with Jim Carrey. That's a lot of fun. And again, he's a big comedy actor. So say someone's a big fan of Jim Carrey, almost everybody has done a horror movie. Now, I'm not going to say every single actor or actress out there, but a lot of them have. So someone's a massive, Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. End of Days is a good segue into horror. Or Maggie, where his daughter's a zombie. Jim Carrey, Once Bitten. Or the number 23. All right. Ernest Scared Stupid is a lot of fun. So I remember when Ernest Scared Stupid first premiered on TV. And back in the day, sometimes TV Guide would do these specials. So if you got the TV Guide, there would be something special you could do while you're watching the movie. And with Ernest Scared Stupid, it was smell-o-vision. So if you scratched it, you could smell like sour milk. Because, you know, I guess it just gives you that 4D experience, that fourth sense. Yeah, I remember that, and it was pretty fun. So Dice says, Ernest Scared Stupid is a good one. Actually, my mom showed Gremlins to my brother and I when I was 8. Yeah, and, you know, Gremlins is scary. It's got some pretty scary parts in it, but it's just scary enough. I don't think it's too scary. I mean, I think a lot of us watched that as children, and I think, you know, we were covered. It's fun, too. It's fun. The doggos are here! Absolutely, Lion Queen. Yes, I absolutely highly recommend Something Wicked This Way Comes, based on the Ray Bradbury book. The movie is really good. It still holds up. It's really, really creepy. JK Horror Fan, I am so sorry. This channel is not monetized because I do not have 4,000 watch hours. I have like 1,700. But if you want to help out the channel, you can always watch some more of my videos, help me get that watch time. And I do have a Patreon if you guys want to join that and, you know, be part of my B Movie coven. Hopefully soon I will be monetized. I'm hoping sometime this year. Yeah, a lot of you guys like Something Wicked This Way Comes. I think that's a really good one. Hey, Pop in the Popcorn. Good to see you. Happy day after Friday the 13th. So technically, I actually thought about that. I thought about, because if you watch the Friday the 13th films, the second one is not on Friday the 13th. It's like well, I think the second one might be on Friday the 13th. Maybe it is, because that one's like a year later. But then after part 2, let's see, definitely after, a lot of them are like the next day. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Let me think. Yeah, one of them at least is the next day. I think there's a couple that are like the day after. So yeah, I think there is a Saturday the 14th in there. Ooh, Lulz has good taste. Oh, Lulz. I remember repeatedly watching the live action Scooby-Doo movies. They are so much fun. Super 8, that's a good one. It's got, you know, aliens in it. It's spooky. Another one that kind of makes me think of Super 8 is Cloverfield. In fact, a lot of found footage movies, they tend to not show you too much. It's more about suspense and atmosphere. Movies like, you know, Paranormal Activity might be too much for some people. It did scare me. But Cloverfield's one that I think is just the right amount of action, horror, and thriller, that it is pretty easy for people to get into that one. And another one that I think is really fun is Cabin in the Woods. That one's a lot of fun. Nightmare Files, good to see you. Very good suggestion there, me too. Hocus Pocus. So yeah, like it's a movie. It's one of those tough ones too, because it's a family movie. Obviously, it's Disney. Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out this year. I'm super stoked. But yeah, you've got, you know, witches who are eating children, and you know, a kid who was turned into a cat. There's some dark stuff in there, and it's all Halloween-y, but it's a good like intro to horror film. Blucka Blucka! Scary movie. Yeah, parodies are good. Cabin in the Woods, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Absolutely, Adam Ward's Alien and Alien versus Predator. So whoops, I didn't click it. Fairpoint says horror is harder to get into the older you get, in my experience. Most of the hardcore horror nerds I know were introduced to it as kids. I think part of it is things are less scary as you get older. You know, I don't know, because I was introduced to horror pretty young. So things were less scary to me, but it might just be because I had seen so many horror movies. I do know people my age who get pretty scared pretty easily just because they don't watch a lot of horror movies. So, you know, I think it kind of just depends on who you are. Another, I guess, film group that I think is good for recommending to people just getting into horror is your Universal Monsters. A lot of those old black and white movies. Hey, Peyton, thanks for subscribing. Yay, we're one step closer. And I got to keep track, because every time we get a new subscriber, I will, when I decide to end the stream, I'll add 10 minutes to it. That means I need to find a pen. Where are my pens? All right, got a pen. Oh no, and I broke my pen. Okay, so yeah, your Universal Monster movies like The Wolfman, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon. All of those are good. My mom also introduced me to An American Wolf from London when I was pretty young. That wasn't too scary. The Bad Seed, and my brothers and I loved The Incredible Shrinking Man. It's so good. It still holds up. All right. We're going to add 10 minutes to the stream whenever I end it. Yes, we need a horror movie involving a pug. I'm way behind on the chat, guys. All right, here's some movies that Rich says you should not show them. Human Centipede. Yeah, pretty much anything where anyone has to eat poop is a no-go. Reanimator. Yeah, Reanimator might be a bit too weird for some people. It kind of depends on the person. Like, I love Frank Henenlotter films. I think some of my friends would be cool with a movie like Frankenhooker, but yeah, some of them are a little weird. Tokyo Gore Police and Ichi the Killer. Yeah, I think it just kind of depends if you think they can handle gore. But we are talking about people who are a little new to this stuff. It might be trepidatious. The Witches, 1990. Yeah, again, it's kind of a family movie, but it's so messed up and it's got great practical effects and it's so scary. Have I seen, Fairpoint wants to know, he wants to know if Ariel's seen Come True. It is a really good blend of sci-fi and horror, and it's beautifully filmed. Ariel wants to know, what is my favorite Friday the 13th kill? I'm gonna go with the liquid nitrogen in Jason X. I love that kill. I think it's so cool. Hey, Smells Like Teen Horror. These are 3 movies I would pick to show someone who's just getting into horror. Scream, that's a great one. It's a great party movie too because the pacing is so fast and it's so funny. And yeah, just great music. And Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is usually a pretty good hit, especially around the Halloween season, even with people who are not super into horror. It's a great movie. Hey guys, it's David Press. Say hi. Yeah, Dice knows what's up. There you go. The Myers fan, good to see you. I do remember you. Hey. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, so here is Nightmare Files recommendation list. So we've got Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Evil Dead, and Sinister. Those are pretty good. I mean, I think some of them might be a little scary, but again, I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street at slumber parties and stuff, so it also depends on the situation too. Like, I remember my friends' kids asked me for recommendations for a slumber party, and they wanted to get like The Conjuring and Insidious because they wanted to be scared, but not too scared. So I think in those cases, absolutely, Nightmare on Elm Street's really good. The Wheelers and Return to Oz are terrifying. And I still believe, saxophone guy in that movie. He's like my spirit animal. I love that guy. The Burbs. That's a great suggestion, Adam. Great one. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Hey, Kevin. Nice to see you. Once Bitten and Teen Wolf do make a good double feature. Candyman, Nightmare Files. Your movies are scary. Your friends are way more prepared, I think. But yeah, those are great movies. People Under the Stairs. We get caught up with you guys in the chat. Yeah, I don't understand. The rating system is so flawed. So Breakfast Club, I believe it's for mild sexuality, which they don't do anything, and language, mostly for language because they swear a lot in that movie. But Poltergeist, yeah, I mean, they don't take into the consideration like some of these situational things that could be really scary. I mean, part of Poltergeist, why it is PG, is because it was before PG-13 came out, right around that time that like Raiders and stuff, and that's what kind of pushed them to create PG-13 for things that were probably a little more intense than a PG movie, but not quite an R. And another one, I think, I mentioned this earlier, is Jaws. Like, you don't really see the shark that much. You don't see anything extremely graphic, but it is scary. It is suspenseful. I think Jaws is a really good one. Let's see. Another vote for Hocus Pocus and the Witches. Terminator and T2. Those are really good ones. And I think I consider Terminator a horror movie. Let me know what you guys think, but I think it absolutely is. Nice to see you, Crystal. Hey, Aspie, thanks for sharing the stream. Yeah, that absolutely helps too. Tremors. So David Price recommends Tremors. I think Tremors is a really good one because it is got that humor in it. Also, rest in peace to Fred Ward. He sadly passed away at age 79 a couple days ago. But Tremors is a lot of fun, and it doesn't have a really scary vibe to it. Like some movies it's the atmosphere, I think, that is really unsettling. Movies like The Ring, it has a pretty serious atmosphere all the way through, and it has you set up to be prepared to be scared. But I think Tremors is just meant to be a good time, and it absolutely is. Musicals, yeah. Ariel says, but I'm also a fan of horror themed musicals like Rocky Horror Picture Show, Little Shop of Horrors, and all three Disney zombie movies. I haven't seen the Disney zombie movies, but horror musicals, I think my favorite horror musicals, I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love Little Shop of Horrors, horror musicals. I loved Evil Dead the musical, even though it's not a movie. I like Repo the Genetic Opera. I feel like I'm missing and Anna and the Apocalypse. That's a really good horror musical. Yes, Crystal, thank you. The Craft is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's such a great movie to watch. Like, it's this great slumber party movie. I think it still holds up. It's also just a wonderful 90s time capsule. So if you grew up in the 90s or a teenager in the 90s, I think a lot of people are going to like it for the nostalgia of it. And absolutely, if you're a witch, they actually had a Wiccan consultant on that movie. Plus, Firuza Balk was a practicing witch, and Rachel True is very spiritual and is active in the community. So, yeah, it's absolutely awesome for those reasons, too. Your Mum, a family movie? Okay, that's my brother, and I have no idea what he's talking about. Hello, Alexander Armstrong. Just tuning in. Hope I'm not too late. You are just in time. We're talking about movies that you could introduce to people who are just getting into horror, who are new to horror, and also kids too. I think a lot of parents want to be able to share something that they love so much, like horror movies, with their children. They want to get them interested without scarring them for life. So movies like that. And I think absolutely, if you have like a good friend, you want to share that with them. Another thing that comes to mind is a lot of TV shows. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a really good one. It's got horror, it's got romance, it's got action, it's got drama and comedy. The movie and especially the TV show, but there's also shows like Supernatural that mix horror with other genres and are primarily, I think, like adventure or action focused. Yes. And Leprechaun. We were talking about Leprechaun. Leprechaun is such a odd movie, and if you watched my video on it, the studio didn't really understand what the filmmakers were going for in a lot of regards, because they, Mark Jones's idea for it was different. He wanted a movie that kids could enjoy, but he wanted it to be rated R because he said that no kid wants to go see a movie that's PG-13 because it's going to be too tame. So I think that the studio had a hard time like with that concept, and they upped the gore, but they removed a lot of the funny gags and stuff too. And I think this was really meant for an audience that would enjoy like Monster Club, Goonies, things like that. So it's a bummer. I really hope we get a Mark Jones cut eventually, because there's so many scenes that were cut out of that are they just sound so cool. Like Lep making a giant Dagwood sandwich and Lep getting run over by the car and having tire tracks on him. But it's a lot of fun, and I can't think of anybody who watched that movie as a kid that didn't have a great time. That also reminds me of, I mentioned Monster Club. Monster Club is such a good one. I used to love renting that one with my friends when I was a kid. And another one I really enjoyed, like later on, like when I was a teenager, was Bride of Chucky. It's not especially gory, but again, it's really fun. So I think comedy just makes horror so much more accessible. Tomorrow night is the super flower blood moon. I think the full moon isn't it Monday? I think it's Monday, but if it's tomorrow, that's awesome. Yeah, sadly, Fred Ward passed away. Another vote for Monster Squad, and Night of the Creeps is a really good one too. And that movie, just like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, it's so quotable. Like, nobody can get through that movie without going, thrill me. Like, Tom Atkins is such a badass in that movie. So I think your friends who like your badass action stars, like Bruce Willis and Die Hard and movies like that are just kick ass. Night of the Creeps absolutely has that. It also has that old school B moviness to it. You know, people who like movies like The Blob or, you know, even movies like Night of the Living Dead. Another one that I think is really good is Night of the Living Dead, just because it isn't horribly graphic. It's one I watched when I was really young, but it is scary. It's genuinely scary, and the pacing just flies right by. The Incredible Shrinking Man, Polar Flare Plunge. Yeah. Hey, Mandy. Jonathan E. Baez, welcome. I haven't seen you here before, but good to see you. The first time I saw Reanimator, it was the TV version. All the good stuff was cut out, but it was still a scary movie, even edited for TV. That's how I saw all the Friday the 13th. My brothers and I would watch all of the Friday the 13th on the TNT marathon. So it's kind of weird because those movies are known for their graphic kills and, you know, the TNA, and I didn't really see any of that. The scariest thing I saw in those movies was Jason jumping onto the canoe at the end of the first one. So it was really interesting, like when I got older and actually ended up renting them and eventually buying them for myself, just because I had missed so much of it. But yeah, I think your TV cuts, they're enough to get you interested in the story and stuff. And depending on what you want to do too, you can always make your own cuts of some movies. Like I mentioned on the stream before, my son was really interested in dinosaurs and he wanted to see Jurassic Park. And he was super young. He was like 4. So I just like trimmed out some of the more intense parts and made him his own special cut. So kind of made my own TV version, if you will. Mandy says, oddly enough, from my experience, showing people older stuff doesn't pan out the focus of the FX and stuff like that. I think it just depends. I think my son, kids and stuff are a little more open to different things. So like I showed my son a lot of black and white. I watched a lot of black and white because you don't really have a lot to compare to because you're young. And my son loved like the Addams Family TV show. Definitely when you get into teenagers, a lot of times they're not going to want to watch anything black and white. And they really sometimes don't like stuff that has dated effects. So it kind of depends on the age. But, you know, that is a really good point. All right. Yeah. Evil Dead, there are parts of it. I mean, you also have to kind of know like what people's sensitivities are. You know, there's tree rape in that. So didn't bother me. I saw it young, but it could be triggering for some people. All right, Zigma, my brother says, as a non-horror fan, I recommend 13 Ghosts and Event Horizon. Event Horizon, yeah, it's got a lot of sci-fi in it, and it's bizarre and creepy and cool. And 13 Ghosts, the remake, with Matthew Lillard in it, is a lot of fun. Dead Heat is a very good one. That's like a buddy cop movie that has zombies in it and Vincent Price. They showed that one on the last drive, and that was actually the first time I'd ever seen it. But yeah, if you know somebody who likes movies like the ones I can think of are all old, but like Tango and Cash, I think they would love Dead Heat. Legend is a very good suggestion because you got like, you know, creepy Tim Curry, and it's fantasy, you know. So if you had a friend who loved movies like The Last Unicorn and Labyrinth, like you can segue into Legend. I think of it kind of like building blocks. Like you kind of start small and you're like, okay, they liked that, and then you build up from there. And you know, like you guys talked about before, like what they're interested in. One of my good friends loves cheesy movies, and so I've used cheesy movies as a way to introduce him to so many great horror films. You know, we watch a lot of non-horror cheesy movies too, like Zardoz, but because he loves those cheesy movies, I've shown him Frankenhooker and The Suckling and Uninvited, which is, you know, really fun, and he loved them. Yes, Repo. Adam wants to know, do you guys think it's harder to get a younger audience to watch older horror films? I've been seeing a lot of dislikes for a lot of 80s. Like I said, with my son, which was in the early 2000s, he was pretty open to anything just because he didn't have a lot to compare it to because he was so young. I mean, I think if you're going to introduce them to Universal monsters and stuff, you got to get them pretty young and kind of get them a taste for like, black and white and stuff. Teenagers, like I've introduced teenage friends to things like Poltergeist, and I remember the friend I introduced it to was really not impressed with the dated effects and stuff. But yeah, I think it just kind of depends. Teenagers can be a bit tougher. But I think with teenagers, honestly, the requels are kind of just geared for them. Teenagers and early 20 somethings, so like the Scream requel, things like that, and they can usually handle things that are a little more scary, a little more graphic. Teenagers are like their own ball of wax. And absolutely, if someone's already interested in horror and they're trying to kind of like track down the classics and stuff, I know a lot of horror fans who just haven't seen much. I talked to a guy over on one of my friend's streams the other day who hadn't even seen any of the Halloween movies. He'd just seen Scream, all the Scream movies, and he knew he liked horror. So people like that, I think, are going to be a lot more open to maybe black and white 80s films, that kind of thing. All right, David Price. We got an X on... No way! An X? We got an X on Children of the Corn 2. I trimmed 3 frames and resubmitted. Got the R. It's random. Depends who sees your film. Yeah, from what I understand, the ratings board, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. A really good movie I watched about ratings was Censor, which was interesting because it's set in England during the whole is it set in England? No, I actually think it's set in America. I don't remember. I just remember it's set kind of during that video nasties era, which I associate with British stuff. So maybe that's why I'm thinking it's British. I don't remember though. Anyway, the woman in that movie, she is on the censor board, and yeah, the things that they cut out, it's so random. And sometimes I think it's completely unnecessary, especially when you look back at like a lot of the Friday the 13th films that were just butchered. Movies like Friday the 13th Part 7, Part 8, like they just got hacked to pieces, and it's really unfortunate. I wish some of those movies had a director's cut, or they still had some of the footage, but unfortunately with the older films before the digital age, some of that footage is just lost. Robin says, The Princess Bride. Ariel says, which horror movie is perfect to watch? I love it when you guys ask questions too. Like, absolutely. We don't just need to talk about this one topic the whole time. Bring up your own topics. You can ask me questions. You can ask everybody in the Gory Hole questions. It's Horror Hangout. We can talk about whatever you want. I just try to bring something to kind of get you guys started. So Ariel says, which horror movie is perfect to watch at your slumber party? Mine is Planet Terror. I love Planet Terror. I'm going to show you. I actually have a poster of that one. Oh no, my webcam. All right. Yeah, right there. Planet Terror. Love that movie because the horror movie is so extreme. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, is a great one. Scream is a great one. The Craft. I tend to go with movies that are pretty fast paced, and that are easy enough to watch that you can still talk to your friends, go take a break and go get something to eat without missing too much. Movies that are pretty consistently entertaining and not really complicated with the plot. I haven't seen Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree. Let me know, if it's any good. I've heard it's good, but I haven't seen it. Rumpelstiltskin. That's also a Mark Jones movie. That's a pretty good one. And Mark Holton was in that one too. So Mandy says, Deep Blue Sea scared the mess out of me. Now it affects with my PTSD to the point I can't go into aquariums anymore. So in conclusion, solid choice. Yeah, and I will say, it doesn't matter how careful you are. It's so weird what scares people because it's always something personal, My son is not easily scared by much of anything. I tend to be careful of just because he gets uncomfortable watching nudity with his mom, which understandable. So I don't really suggest a lot of movies with a lot of nudity. We tried watching The Last Drive-In together last week, and Death by Temptation came on. He noped right out of there. But yeah, he's not afraid of anything, and it was so weird that well, jump scares scare him, and so it's so weird that the movie that scared him the most was Bad Milo, which I think is a pretty tame movie. But when Milo jump scares the colonoscopy cam, he freaked out. Like that was way too much for him. So, and he was like 10. So, you know, yeah, you never know. And the movies that have scared me a lot, like even though I've seen a lot of movies, we talked last week like about the scariest movies of all time, and I still a little freaked out by The Ring and Paranormal Activity, even though I know to a lot of people those movies are really tame. But for me, that kind of paranormal stuff does get under my skin a little bit easier. You can't ask David questions, Gory? Ariel, post him in the chat. If he's still here, he'll see him. Arachnophobia. Anthony Brown, welcome to the Gory Hole. I haven't seen you here before, but nice to meet you. Arachnophobia is a lot of fun, and if someone's afraid of spiders, it's just the right mix of being really scary and just fun. But like, it's got John Goodman in it and stuff too. So yeah, I used to be really afraid of spiders. Now I have 2 pet spiders, so I'm getting over it. But yeah, that movie still scares me. Adam highly recommends Jaws. Yes, I agree. Jaws is horror. I think for me, any movie that is trying to horrify you, not just scare you, not thrill you, but horrify you. So horrifying can be in what it's about, So if, like, for instance, I think Silence of the Lambs is horror. It would have been thriller, but the guy bites another man's face off. So because they show it and everything, in my opinion, that is a horror movie. Yeah, I think if they show the kills pretty graphically, if they show the violence or the act of violence graphically, like in your rape revenge films, it's horror. And if the plot is horror focused, so like you can have a movie like where people are God, there's that one with Val Kilmer back, Ghost in the Darkness. It's kind of a creature feature. It's about lions, but it's not super focused on the act of the lions killing people. It's more focused on your characters. Whereas you have Jaws, it's pretty focused on the whole there's a killer shark thing. So it's so subjective, and absolutely, if you guys disagree with me, let me know your thoughts, because my thoughts on these things are always changing. But that's kind of where I draw the lines with it. And so absolutely, movies that tend to be contested a lot, movies like Aliens. In my opinion, Aliens is almost like a haunted house movie. It's not much different than Halloween with Michael Myers. They're trapped in a single location, and this monster is going through the vents and picking them off one by one. But it's all subjective. Trilogy of Terror and Annabelle Comes Home. Those are pretty good ones, Mandy. Especially Annabelle Comes Home, because it's really like horror light. Really horror light. That would be a good summer party one. The Monster Club. Robin, I love that movie with Vincent Price, and it's kind of wholesome. It really is wholesome. There is a vampire played by Vincent Price who meets a man who helps him. And the man is very old, so he invites him to the Monster Club, where just all kinds of monsters hang out. And it's an anthology film, so he tells him various stories. But I love that movie. And Dice Rollin over on her channel, she did a great review of that, by the way. And she's in the chat here. If you're not already subscribed, awesome content over there. Rich would date the hell out of Tom Atkins. Who wouldn't? Alexander Armstrong, Wrong Turn still holds up as one of my favorite mutant cannibal movies of all time. Yeah, Wrong Turn is a lot of fun. Let's see, mutant cannibal movies. What are my favorite mutant cannibal movies? Unpopular opinion, I like the Hills Have Eyes remake way better than the original, even though I'm a massive Wes Craven fan. But I just think the remake was scarier. There's some zombie mutant um people in Tucker and Dale. It's not exactly what you expect, but I do love Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a good one. Zombie mutant people. I feel like I'm missing a ton. Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight Part 2 kind of has creatures like that. I liked that one a lot. I like that it was from the perspective of the monsters a little bit, so that was cool. April Fool's Day. So a lot of people dislike April Fool's Day. I would love to hear your guys' take on April Fool's Day because I think it's really fun. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you because I think that's a big part of the ride. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially your standard holiday themed slasher. It's got great performances in it. Just a lot of people I really love from other movies. Ken Oliphant from Leprechaun's in it. And actually, two people I've mentioned on my show before. The gal from Grizzly 2, she's in it too. But yeah, it's really fun. And so I guess people's issue with it is primarily the ending, but I think the ending plays perfectly into what the movie's all about. So I really like it. Anthony Brown says anthology movies are super cool. If you don't like one segment, there'll always be another in the moment. Absolutely. I think as far as anthology movies go, Trick or Treat tends to be a hit. I've shown Trick or Treat to a lot of non-horror people, and they tend to really like it. My mom likes it. One that's a little iffy, I think, because I watched it with my son, was Holidays. The Jesus Easter Bunny thing freaked him the crap out. But yeah, generally they're pretty good. The VHS ones can be a bit intense. I don't know. I was gonna think of another movie to mention, but I think we'll come back to that. Hey, Sandy Absolute! Absolutely, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a thumbs up. It does help me with the algorithm gods, so thumbsing ups, commentings, all the things are good, because, trying to grow this little channel. Oracle 684, nice to meet you. I was at Days of the Dead Chicago yesterday. Does Days of the Dead come into your state, Gory? It does not. I live in Washington State, up where we have sparkly vampires and Bigfoot. And we don't get a whole lot of the big conventions, but what we do have is Crypticon Seattle, and that is going to be next weekend. I'm going to be there. If you guys are in Seattle and you're at the convention, I'm going to post my panel schedule up on my social media sites. But I'm a panelist, so you can find me really easily there. And I'm just excited because they've got Elvira coming this year. They've got Roger L. Jackson, sorry. They've got the Chiobo brothers. They've got Fiona Dourif and Alex Vincent from Child's Play. So I'm excited to meet a lot of people. I always come back with the best shirts and usually new headbands. I'm excited about that. I usually see a new movie while I'm down there, which I enjoy. And I love the after party, just getting to see all my favorite weirdos. So if you'll be there, like I know my friend Robin in the chat will be there, and my friend Rich in the chat will be there too. Ghostbusters is perfect. There are parts of, like, I remember as a kid, like the librarian freaked me out, but in that really fun way. And my son is Ghostbusters obsessed. And I love part 2, unpopular opinion. I think it's a lot of fun. And the Ghostbusters Afterlife was pretty good. A little less horror in that one, but it was good. My son even liked the Ghostbusters Answer the Call. But yeah, they're all pretty easy for kids to watch. Ariel says, remember the one story in the movie Chillerama? I was so scared about the Wadzilla. Is that the one with the giant sperm that attacks people? I think so. Anyway, let me know if I'm wrong. Adam says, I'd like to start off with the original Twilight Zone. They are easy and fun to watch and have enough social commentary to get them thinking. I think that's really good too. Twilight Zone, a lot of the best episodes were written by Richard Matheson, who's my favorite author. I love, like, Eye of the Beholder and Terror at 60-something other feet. The gremlin on the wing of the plane. I watched a lot of those as a kid, and then Twilight Zone the movie is really good too. And then even the new Twilight Zone show that Jordan Peele did is great. Also, speaking of Jordan Peele, another movie that I think tends to be a slam dunk every time I introduce it to somebody is Get Out. So for everyone I've shown that to, like non-horror friends, tend to like that one. So you know, it's kind of like trial and error, but you kind of find your movies that tend to be big hits. Another one recently that I've been introducing people who can handle a little more gore, older people to, is PG Gorman, just because it's so funny, but it also has that nostalgia factor. So if somebody grew up in the 90s loving Power Rangers and stuff, I think they're going to love Psycho Gorman. It's so much fun. Ghostbusters! Zigma, my mom, Zigma is my younger brother, in case you guys didn't know. My mummy says she recommends Aliens and American Werewolf in London and The Sixth Sense. Those are really good. She had me watch American Werewolf in London when I think that was one of my very first movies. It came out the year I was born. And The Sixth Sense, that's a really good one too. It's not terribly scary, but it's got a lot of heart and it's got great characters. And I think mostly what we want as humans, like not just horror fans, as humans, is we want a great story. We want characters we can connect to, and we want to have fun. And I don't think a movie has to be fun necessarily to be good, but especially when you're introducing horror to somebody, I think you're gonna mostly want to go with ones that are fun. There are amazing horror films that are not fun at all. I think Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is a masterpiece. The movie is not remotely fun, but I also, even though I think it's a masterpiece, I wouldn't introduce it to somebody as their first horror movie. I would stick with fun. I think fun is a good way to go. And American Werewolf in London is 100% fun. I watched that as a little kid. Loved it. My microphone is in the way and I can't see what you guys are saying. Adam says, absolutely, Gory, you're absolutely right. I've been seeing teens earliest 20s tend to go with requels and more contemporary horror. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's why I'm not opposed to reboots and requels, because I mean, I don't think they're necessarily for me. I think they're like kind of a lure to get new fans invested in a previously established franchise. And I still have those movies. Like I was really not excited about the Child's Play remake. I thought it was kind of disrespectful to Don Mancini and the work that he and David Kirshner had done. But I know a lot of people loved it, and if it got them into horror or it got them into Child's Play, that's awesome. It just wasn't. I didn't think it was anything special. But see, that's the thing. I still have my Child's Play movies, and that's even if you didn't like Scream 5, we still have Scream. So yeah, I just, with a lot of those, I know people who grew up with these franchises and who love them already. Sometimes we're not into them, but they serve their purpose, and I'm excited whenever anybody gets interested in horror. And if they can accomplish that, then I'm all for them. If any of that made sense. I don't know. I'm extra rambly today, guys. Robin says a lot of teenagers see remakes of horror films, don't know about the originals exist, and then they watch the originals and don't like them. Yeah, it's a bummer, I think. In my experience, I mean, I have seen some remakes where I saw the remake first. Absolutely, I think The Thing, I saw the remake first, but I'm a big horror fan, so I think I go back and I watch the originals, and I think it's really fun. But teenagers are tough, guys. Like, I have a teenager. I raised him on spooky movies, and because I watch a lot of horror movies, I will ask him to watch a horror movie with me, and he will just be like, no, I'm horrored out, and that's fair. Another thing with teenagers really could be their own stream, guys. Teenagers, mostly, this is a generalization, doesn't apply to all teenagers, but in general, especially my teenager doesn't want to sit through an entire movie. He'll happily go to whatever Marvel movie is out and sit through a 3-hour movie if it's like a Marvel thing. But typically he would rather watch like a TV show or something. He doesn't really want to sit down with me too often and watch a whole movie. And that's kind of where I would go back to, like, TV horrors, especially like your anthology TV shows like Creep Show, I think are really good for that. Like my son loves that. And TV shows these days are getting a lot longer too. But yeah, I don't know. Teenagers are a tough one. Mandy of the Living Dead. I let my nephews pick what they wanted to watch, and didn't just let them watch anything with sex in it, unless it was very tame or basically what I do as a parent. Yeah, I think it just kind of depends on the kids. Like my son is just, I think it's awkward. It's awkward watching sex scenes with your parents or, your family members. So, things that I didn't even realize would be uncomfortable. I remember when I showed him Friday the 13th Part 4, the skinny dipping scene made him super embarrassed. And so I felt really bad because I hadn't even thought of that. So just knowing the person and such. And oddly, I thought he was going to enjoy that one the most because it had a kid in it. But his favorite's Part 2. That brings me to something else, is representation. When I was a kid, when I was a little girl witch, I gravitated towards movies that had little girls in them. And those were my favorite movies just because I could identify with the characters so much easier. So movies like Firestarter, or really any movie that had a really cool female character, like Carrie, or I loved Friday the 13th Part 7 when I was a kid. What are you doing, puppy? But yeah, so, think about the person. Like, what characters are they going to identify with and that are going to resonate with them? So if you have a little boy, movies that have little boys in them. There's some great movies with little boys, like People Under the Stairs, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Gate. There's some great ones. And even with older people, like a movie that's going to connect to them. If they're from a certain part of the world, like Ireland, there's great Irish horror movies. Things like that. So that's something to think about, because I think no matter what age we are, and that's why representation is so important, people become more connected to a film if they're able to see themselves represented in the film. So like for me, I love witch movies because I'm a practicing witch. So, that's just things to think about. Ariel, I love Dollman. Dollman's so funny. Well, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but I do love Dollman. It's so much fun. I guess fun is the word I'm looking for, but it's sci-fi, it's action, and Tim, can't remember his last name, he's really good in it, and he's also the guy who's in Trancers, which I just saw recently. All right, yeah, I like it when you guys ask me questions, and the chat too. Absolutely, you guys in the chat, chime on in. Rich says, if you could watch a horror for the first time again, what would it be? I think, okay, I have a couple answers to that. One, there are a lot of movies that I saw and I already knew the ending. And I almost wish I could like travel back to when that movie first premiered with no memory of it. Like movies like Psycho, to watch that movie for the first time with an audience in the theater and not know the ending, that would be incredible. I had The Sixth Sense spoiled for me. I would love to go see that one again with no memory of it. But, yeah, because I guess if I'm watching it for the first time, I would have no memory of it. So The Sixth Sense would be good. And one of my all-time best theater experiences was Scream. I just was so blown away. I loved that movie so much. And it was kind of a product of, when I was a teenager. Also The Craft, movies I saw in the cinema that really made a big impact on me. Ooh, my phone's going off. Well, they're just going to have to wait because we're in a stream and I'm talking to you guys. I haven't seen We're All Going to the World's Fair. I've heard a lot of people say it's really good. I really don't know much about what it's about. So if you can tell me about it, Robin, that would be cool. What is going on in my hair? All right, here we go. Yeah, The Craft is such a good summer party movie. And they even have a slumber party in it. So that makes it like even better. You would hit me with a pillow watching Slumber Party? That's fair. My brothers and I grew up on a military base. So I don't know if that's a factor in this, but we used to have pretty intense pillow fights. Like we wouldn't just, we'd pack the pillow in because then the pillow would hit extra hard. But, we put like, toys in there or like a shoe. I don't know. My brothers and I were pretty rough. But yeah, I can definitely, I'm down for the pillow fight is all I'm saying. Just, just saying. You might want to watch your back, dude. Nah. You would hit me with a pillow while watching Slumber Party Massacre. That's 100% an okay. You know what? Okay, here's what I'm asking for, Robin. I've had a lot of pillow fights. a lot of pillow fights, especially my brothers as kids. I have never had a pillow fight with like the goose feathers in it. I've always wanted to have a pillow fight like they do in the movies where you hit your buddy or your sibling with the pillow and then the feathers fly all out of it. I've always wanted to do that. So if you're down for that and you have some goose feather pillows, we need to make it happen. Maybe we can do it at Crypticon. Ariel, you're doing great with these questions tonight. Which Netflix horror movie are you looking forward to? For me, it's Day Shift, Boo, and We See a Ghost. Hopefully Boo's not the one. I've seen a movie called Boo and it wasn't that great. I haven't heard of We See a Ghost or Day Shift coming out on Netflix. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's coming out on Netflix. I really hope Netflix gives us some more Fear Street movies though, because I think those were awesome. Mr. Flickster, hey! And absolutely, there's a lot of great creators in this chat too. So if you guys like me, you're probably gonna like Rich from the Movie Massacre Show, Mr. Flickster, Haunted by Horror, all awesome creators. There's a lot of them in here. Phil's Creepy Vids is here. Hey. Yeah, I agree. Vincent Price is terrific. And I wore this shirt today. Today we've got the Mona Lisa version of Morticia, because I think the Addams Family is, if you're talking about like little kids, starting with those Halloween movies, like even, you know, tame stuff, like, you know, Garfield's Halloween special, Alvin and the Chipmunks, because it's spooky, you know, and I think if you get them to like spooky, that's a big ticket right there. Are You Afraid of the Dark's awesome. And anthology shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark are so cool because you don't need to watch the whole series. You can just pick out your favorite episode and they can jump right in. Mandy says, I lived in the city till I was 9. Then we moved out to the country where my horror movie knowledge hit hard. I was spooked, but not a coward, more like living in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, that would definitely be hard. I can kind of relate, not as far as like moving city to country, but as far as moving countries. I grew up on a military base, which is it's different. You know, when you lived on a military base, you're kind of in this like this own enclosed little world. And it was in England too, so we would go see my family and such over there, but it was very different than when I moved to America. And I mean, the country looks different. There's mountains here. There were mountains where I lived before. So, yeah. I absolutely understand that. Cabin in the Woods, it's a good one. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a horror movie, if you ask me. I hate what they did with Pluto in the Hills Have Eyes remake. I honestly, I prefer the Hills Have Eyes remake. I think the original has some good stuff in it, but I think just some of it just hasn't aged super well. I think that like the people's costumes and stuff just weren't as scary as like the people who were actually mutated in the remake. For me, the remake's just scarier, but absolutely the original does have a lot of good stuff in it. I would give my recommendation to the remake. But if you want something tamer, the original is tamer for sure. I don't think David Price was ever mad at you, dude. Because you've been talking about Sean Younggory. No, I don't think so. But you'd have to ask him. I don't think so though. Trolls, Elisa. That's if you're okay. So I will say if you have a cheesy movie buddy, like my buddy Munster who was over here, 100% Trolls is awesome. But yeah, it's for those people who like movies like The Room, you know, people who like those so bad they're good. Yeah, Trolls is a lot of fun though. Sweet. So Elisa, do you like horror movies? Because that would be awesome. Because maybe you can get Dusty to watch more horror movies. Yeah, when you come up this way, we're watching some horror together. Hey, Phil. He says, hey there, horror fans. It's your buddy Phil here. Yeah, Phil has an awesome channel and he always has amazing things in his collection to show off. So absolutely, if that's your bag, you got to check him out. Adam loves April Fool's Day Killer Party and Slaughter High. Those are really good April Fool's Day themed horror movies. Like a lot of those pranks gone wrong movies. Another one that makes me think of that like as a prank gone wrong is The Burning. I love The Burning. Mandy, I liked it enough to watch it on Chiller and HorrorNet back in the day. Amy Steele is in April Fool's Day and Friday the 13th Part 2. And wasn't she in something else? I can't think of off the top of my head, but I love Amy Steele. Zigma also really likes Saw, but I can't recommend it since the sequels are so bad. There are some movies that, for whatever reason, just appeal to mainstream audiences. And again, I think Saw, part of it is because they always came out around Halloween season. And people are just way more interested in seeing horror movies during Halloween. I love Halloween because for that whole month of October, all of my spooky clothes and stuff actually get complimented when I leave the house because everybody loves spooky stuff in October, which I really like. And I think some more that I think are more like mainstream and pretty easy to introduce people to are like your James Wan movies, which again Saw. But also The Conjuring and that stuff, those are pretty easily digestible by most mainstream audiences. I'm actually not really a big fan of The Conjuring for my own reasons, but I think those are movies that get people into the cinemas and stuff. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys' thoughts on that. Like, do you like those movies? Yeah, David's not mad at you. Washington, represent! Mandy of the Living Dead says, I watched The Cell with J-Lo. Oh my goodness, I saw that in the cinema back in the day. David Cronenberg's The Fly, Candyman, Hellraiser. None of that affected my 6-year-old much, but then Chucky and freaking Scooby-Doo Zombie Island freaked me out. Yeah, again, it just depends. Like, I loved the original Fly, and it's one of my favorite movies to this day. When I was a kid, I think I would have been afraid of Candyman, but I do remember I saw The Thing and David Cronenberg's Fly pretty young. Hellraiser, I think it's really gory, so it just kind of depends if the person can handle gore. But Chucky, I mean, I talked about this before. Just the look of Chucky used to freak me out. Like my friend had a bumper sticker of it, or seeing the poster used to freak me out. And now Chucky is my favorite slasher series. I think it is the best and most innovative of all the slasher franchises, including Halloween. Hot take maybe, but I just think that Don Mancini and David Kirshner have put so much into this franchise, and it continues to be exciting and new without ever completely like having to completely drop the previous films to reinvent itself. Mr. Flickster doesn't like Get Out? Well, dude, why? Let me know why. Jim, the Joseph Hopper video guy. Hey, I saw you on one of my friends' streams the other day. I can't remember which one, but nice to see you here. Welcome. Your Next is a Great Home Invasion movie. And Jim is ready for season 4 of Stranger Things. I am so ready. And Stranger Things is one too that I think mainstream audiences tend to really like because it's just so it's so good, and it's the characters are so good. It also has all that fun nostalgia, so like if you were a kid in the 80s like I was, I think it makes it extra fun. Plus I feel like every decade gets kind of its throwback era. I think we're kind of moving past the 80s right now, but for a while there, and it's because the filmmakers of that time period, you know, they grew up in that period, so that's why we get a bit of a resurgence. I think we're getting more into the 90s now. I think we're seeing that more with like Fear Street and a lot of movies that are kind of set in the 90s. And again, it's just because people, I guess my age or younger, are making movies now. You know, especially people who are like little kids in the 90s. I was a teenager in the 90s. So I think we're going to get like a 90s era resurgence now. But definitely Stranger Things, great characters, really fun nostalgia, and really cool monsters and creatures. All right. I'm ready for that hot take. Alexander Armstrong says, unpopular opinion, Exorcist 3 Legion is my favorite in the Exorcist franchise. I love the original, but 3 is my number one. George C. Scott and Brad Dourif killed it. I think 3 is really underrated. It's got incredible acting in it, and I like the way the scares are done. It's never explicitly gory. Like all the worst stuff that happens in it gore-wise, most of it you hear about from other characters. But yeah, it's got one of the best jump scares in it of all time. I think you know which one I'm talking about. Brad Dourif's phenomenal in it. George C. Scott's phenomenal, and it has a really interesting, unique filming way that really takes its time. So it can be a bit slow for some people, and maybe that's why it's not as popular. I still prefer the original Exorcist, but definitely Exorcist 3 would be my second favorite. I think it's a wonderful film. Mr. Flixer says, fun fact, Psycho Gorman was filmed in St. Catharines. It's about 20 minutes from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, and I have family there. That's so cool. In my city, the only movie I know of that was filmed here was parts of Surviving the Game. But there are a lot of movies that are known in Washington. Let me know what you guys think of that and like what topics you want to talk about in future hangouts. I think one of the things I might want to explore is like, what is the horror movie of your region or your state? Because I think a lot of states, and especially cities, if a movie was filmed there, it becomes kind of known for it. So I think of The Ring when I think of my state. I think of Scream when I think of California. So if that's something you guys want to talk about, maybe we'll do that in our next stream. Let me know. 80s Teenager, welcome, the Centennial. I have not seen that, but it's from 1977. I've been meaning to check it out. I think that's the one that has, is that the one with the cat on the cover? I don't know. Let me know. Jim wants to know which you looking forward to, Halloween Ends or season 4 of Stranger Things. Probably season 4 of Stranger Things. I do love Halloween, but I think I'm just because I've been watching it longer. I'm a little more invested in Stranger Things, and I think I heard it was going to be the last one, so I'm excited to see how it ends. But I am very excited for Halloween Ends. I think I would be more excited if I enjoyed Halloween Kills more. That Halloween Kills, some of the dialogue was a little cheesy. But yeah, still super excited to see it. But I gotta give it to Stranger Things Season 4 just a little bit more. Yeah, that's why you didn't like 2019 Child's Play 2. The Final Girls is so good. So I think if you like your meta horror, Scream, Cabin in the Woods, movies like that, The Final Girls is so amazing. It's one of my favorite modern horror movies. I think it's a masterpiece. It's one of the few horror movies I know that has made not just me but a lot of people cry, and it's very blood light. And I don't even know if it's rated R. If it is, it's a very soft R, but that movie is so much fun. I don't know why more people haven't seen it because I just think it's incredible. Sigmund wants to know where my Chucky doll is. He's over here. There we go. All right, is that better? There's Chucky and Boris and Tiffany. Time check? $8:02 in LA. I don't know. When am I gonna wrap up the stream? I don't know yet. Ariel says, which horror-themed kids movie are you excited for? For me, I'm excited for Disney Zombie 3, Under Wraps Part 2, and Wendell and the Wild. But I'm also looking forward to Hocus Pocus 2 and Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt. I'm really excited for Hocus Pocus 2, and I'm always excited about whatever new Scooby-Doo movie there is. My mummy recommends The Shining. I think The Shining's a classic. And it's definitely like a horror 101. Like if someone's getting into horror, and I think it's an essential horror movie that you need to see. It's a classic for a reason. It's really scary, and it's awesome. David, the significance of the blue highlight on wrench is that means if you have one, you are a moderator, so you can kick people out of the chat if they're being dicks to people or whatever. Ooh, David, do you want to be a moderator? I'm gonna make you a moderator just cause I feel like it. Bloodbath and Beyond's here. Hey guys! Alright, where's David Price? Make Bloodbath and Beyond a moderator too. Why not? While I'm at it. Make you a moderator. Who else wants to be a moderator while I'm here? Let me know. Make this person a moderator. All right, I'm making people moderators. If you want to be a moderator, let me know. Do. Where is David Price? There he is. All right, David Price, I'm making you a moderator. With great blue wrench comes great responsibility. Use your powers wisely. All right. Oh, Kevin wants to be a mod. And Kevin's a mod. And the cheetah's a mod. All right. I think I got you. Okay. Adam says, Gory, tell me about it. I have younger friends and family members that have a hard time watching movie shows unless it's an MCU property. It's so crazy because my son tells me all the time that movies are too long for him to watch, but he will mark out for whatever new MCU movie there is. Don't let me fun. Get me wrong, they're fun, but not the end all be all. I agree. All right. I think I got everybody. Did I get you, Kevin? Maybe I didn't. No, Kevin is. All right, I think I got everybody. Rosemary's Baby is a great movie. I agree. Zigma, if you got a friend who's really into superhero movies, they should recommend them Brightburn. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Brightburn is so cool because it's kind of like Superman, like what if he was evil? It's got intense, gory kills in it, but it still has that kind of superhero vibe to it. So, yeah, that's a great recommendation. What is going on with my headband? There we go. The Birds, that's a good one. Gory, Psycho, yes. I was a teacher's assistant for a film class. We covered Hitchcock films, and that was a hit. Hitchcock would be a great way to get new audiences into horror. Yeah, well, yeah, because he doesn't even just do horror. I had a film class, and I think we spent most of the class in Psycho, like on every frame, but it was worth it. It's such a great film. Mr. Flickster, what horror movie came out before you were born that you would have loved to have seen while in its theatrical release? I'm gonna again say Psycho because that came out before I was born. Rule number 8: don't pillow fight a cheetah. That's a great rule. Hey, Jay from Bloodbath and Beyond's here. Which, by the way, guys, if you did not know already, Bloodbath and Beyond did launch a second channel, Bloodbath TV, where they do even more movies, even outside of horror. It's really, really fun. Absolutely check that out if you haven't already. Jay wants to know, what's the best glory hole horror? You know, I'm glad that you asked, because as somebody who started the gory hole, I feel like I'm in a special position to answer this question. The best glory hole horror is Deep Dark, without a doubt. So Deep Dark, this guy who's like an artist rents this place, and it's got a hole in the wall, and then the hole insists that he put things in it, things. And then it spits out these little like gumballs, and they help him get success in his career and in his life. But obviously, it demands more with time. But Deep Dark, it's got to be the best glory hole horror movie because the whole movie is essentially about a killer glory hole. So that's my recommendation. Crystal Fear. My friend and I would put in our VHS tape of The Craft and hit play at the same time and talk on the phone while watching and reciting lines. That is the best thing I've ever heard of in my life, and now I want to do that too. Hey, Coop Diouf. I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about how you had seen all the Scream movies, but you hadn't seen like Halloween and stuff. So yeah, I feel like you and I need to come up with like a list of like horror movies I need you to see. But hopefully you did watch those Friday the 13th movies on Friday the 13th, at least the first couple, and Nightmare on Elm Street. I think those are going to be really fun for you. Horror Movies and Beyond. So Horror Movies and Beyond also is another great horror channel here on YouTube. If you guys are not subscribed already, I highly recommend it. She says Fear Street is awesome. I agree. My favorite episode is The Prom Queen. Have I seen the reboot of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is that the one that's at like a pop-up like circus carnival? If so, then yes, I have. I do remember the Goosebumps TV show from the 90s, which, by the way, had one of the most iconic openings. And the theme song that do 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 do. I like that. Coop Diouf. I went to a baseball game tonight. I was worried that a gunman would be there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that did not happen to you. There are lots of awesome creators, including yourself here. Michael Joe. Hey, how's it going? Hi, Jay. Crystal says, Gory, have you heard of the movie Dark Harvest coming out in September? It has kids' Halloween vibes. Cornfield sounds pretty good. I have. I know it's based on a book, and I haven't read the book. But from what I understand, this movie sounds awesome. I mentioned it in my most anticipated movies video. But it's like there's this town where they have to, it kind of reminds me of like the lottery in some ways, because they have this yearly ritual where they have to go find this like pumpkin head guy. And I think you essentially have to kill him, and if you do, or at least contain him, I'm not sure what the rules are, but then you get to leave, because nobody ever gets to leave this town. So if you win this game, essentially, and from what I understand, I think only boys are allowed to do it in their town, but if you win this game, essentially, you are permitted your freedom, and you can leave town. But I imagine there's going to be some cool twists and turns, and yeah, I'm excited. It sounds really fun, and like Halloween-y, which I adore. Hey, Aspie! Ariel says, I did watch Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde, and I made a weird comic book that has 2 Sean Young characters, and I will post it on Deviant, Gory. That's cool. Zigma, what is an unpopular horror movie that you like that you wish to see get redone? For me, it is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Hollow Man. So it's one that I like that I want to see redone. For the longest time, it was Summer Party Massacre, but they did just do that one. Typically, a lot of stuff I like, I don't want remade. What do you think, though? That I want to see remade. A lot of stuff I like, I feel like if they remade it, they're going to do it with CGI and stuff, so I don't really want them to touch it. What do I want to see remade? That's a good question. Probably the Universal Monsters. I mean, the Universal Monsters were great, and then we had a new resurgence with them with the Hammer films. But I feel like the start of the Dark Universe got off to with Tom Cruise and the Mummy. It wasn't what I was hoping for. It was a little too focused on Tom Cruise and his star power than in these stories. I hope like a genuine attempt to bring them back would be awesome. And I liked The Invisible Man. It was totally different, but it was awesome. And I think I heard that Angelina Jolie is supposed to be in a Bride of Frankenstein movie. So, I mean, I'm down for it. I'd love to see that one again. Have I seen Jawbreaker? I actually love Jawbreaker. I was on a roller derby team for, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years. And my team's name was the Jawbreaker. So we used to watch the movie a lot together. But even in high school, like I loved watching the movie with my friends. I'm catching up with the chat. The Burning is on fire. Hi! Robin doesn't like the Conjuring verse either. I did not see Conjuring movie and Annabelle. For me, the biggest thing is I just feel kind of, it's a little too black and white. And especially as a witch, I like movies where witches are villains. And I don't mind it so much in like a kid's movie like Wizard of Oz or Hocus Pocus. But especially with things aimed towards adults, I have a hard time with movies where it's just, well, they're evil. Well, why? Well, because they're a witch. Why are they killing kids? Because they're a witch. Like, as somebody who is a witch, I don't think that's a good enough explanation. I would like a little more character development. And it's just, for me, those movies are very much the good Christians against the horrible, mean old witch. And yeah, as a pagan, I was not really into it. Also, if you know anything about the actual Warrens, it's not the best depiction of them. Hey, Zach, good to see you. I think I did make you a mod. I don't know. Crowfeather Media is also you. All right. I love Chucky too. Tiffany did not just blink behind me. You are messing with me. Did I see the Chucky series? I adored that series. I am so excited. One, I really like that it released the episodes weekly because I think there's something to be said for being able to look forward to something. Like, I typically look forward to watching Joe Bob every week. And with Chucky, I was so excited when the new episode would come out. I'm the same way with What We Do in the Shadows. It's nice when they drop a whole season of something and I can binge it, but I do like the anticipation aspect. But it's also just such a great show. And as a massive Chucky fan, like I said, that is my favorite slasher franchise. Might even be my favorite horror franchise. It's pretty close with Evil Dead, but it probably is my favorite horror franchise, to be honest. I have to think about it. But definitely my favorite slasher franchise. I like him better than Freddy, Leatherface, Jason. Just as a franchise as a whole, I think it's a pretty solid franchise. And I love it. And I thought that the series was just phenomenal. So I'm so excited for season 2. So excited. Mr. Flickster's top 3 franchises are Scream, Child's Play, and Saw. That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people ask me, like, what do I think is on the Rushmore of horror? Like if there was like a Mount Rushmore, so to speak. And I think absolutely Jason, Michael Myers, because the characters are so iconic. Maybe some of the movies were, cash grabby, but the characters are iconic. So Freddy, Jason, Michael, and then I would put Chucky. I think Chucky has earned a space there. But let me know, I can easily see Ghostface or Leatherface being up there too. It's just for me, it would be Chucky. Sandy says, a movie I love that no one talks about is Incident in a Ghostland. It had like 5 different genres of horror. The plot twist was so unexpected. The main characters are 2 sisters. Yes, I have seen it. I do remember people talked about it a lot only because one of the girls who played one of the young girls, one of the things they made her do is a stunt that she shouldn't have done. She actually cut her face really bad. And so I remember it being talked about, but mostly just for the controversy of it. But I do think it's really good. I think the twist, it's not going to land with everybody. I liked it because I interpreted that movie as essentially how people use fiction to cope. People watch movies to escape harsh realities. People read comic books, and people write and tell stories to survive. And I think for me, my interpretation of that movie was it was about the power of storytelling and fiction to survive. So I thought it was really good. I did like it. It's not perfect. I think we still have a ways to go on our representation of trans characters and such in horror. And that movie is an example of that. But like I said, I did really enjoy it. Where is my crow from, David Price? I got that for a birthday. I think he's just a regular crow puppet. So this is Boris. Let's see. Where are you from, Boris? Oh, no, Boris is a raven. My bad. He's from Folkman's Puppets. But look how pretty he is. One of these days, I should probably put Boris in a video because he looks so cool. I don't know. I think he's pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. All right, Boris, you're sitting on the floor. Okay. Robin says, Hellraiser was supposed to have some hammer blow in it. Hammer blow? Maybe blood? I don't know. When the Cenobites came for the uncle. Or hammer blow? I don't know. I don't understand, but maybe you'll tell me in the chat. Adam wants to know, Gory, do you or anyone here watch Fear Fest on AMC in October? I know they edited the heck out of the horror films and commercials, but it's so fun and nostalgic to have horror on live TV for a whole month. I watched AMC back in the day, back when I still had cable. I don't anymore, and I don't have their network, so no. I have Netflix, Shudder, Peacock. Those are the only ones I can think of right now. So I don't have AMC on any of those, but let me know if I can watch it on online. That'd be cool. Egg. I agree. Michael Joe loves the Chucky series. Ariel wants to know what is my favorite, and this goes for all of you guys too, favorite spoof film. Hers is Fatal Instinct. Favorite spoof film. It's not a horror movie, but I do love Not Another Teen Movie. I think that movie's really funny. Favorite spoof film? It's hard because some movies are satire, which is a little different than parody. Like I would say Scream's satire, not parody. Spoof. I like Scary Movie. But of all spoof movies of all time, probably Not Another Teen Movie. That's what I'm going to go with off the top of my head. Maybe I'll come up with a better answer later on. What's up? Psycho Gorman it's like the Power Rangers on steroids, but it's also got like elements of Gwar, elements of E.T. And a lot of, I think the biggest complaint I hear about that is a lot of people don't like the little girl. And I'll be honest, I didn't like her when I first watched it either, but then I realized it's like E.T. for like kids who are not super cute and Spielberg-y. You know, it's for E.T. for little shithead kids, because E.T. is a good and wholesome character. So it makes sense that he is drawn to Elliot, who is a good and wholesome kid. But Psycho Gorman he's psychotic. He's killed so many people. He's not going to be won over by a sweet little Elliot. He's going to be won over by a little asshole kid. And that's exactly what I think Nimi, or I can't remember her name. That's exactly what she is. She's a little asshole kid. So you need that for them to be friends. That's how they have their connection. So yeah, it's a movie that I enjoy more with every rewatch, and probably one of my favorite movies of last year, that and Malignant. Bloodbath and Beyond says part of PG was literally filmed on your street. That's awesome. That is so cool. I hope you got to see some of it. That's so cool. Oh man, I haven't seen Surviving the Game since the 90s. Yeah. So my dad worked at the police station at the time. He actually showed them into the jail cell they used for the very beginning. And I know I think he saw LL Cool J. No, it's not LL Cool J. My bad. Ice-T. He saw Ice-T. And I know my husband, Danny, met Gary Busey because they were in town. Victor Crowley is an awesome movie. Jordan Talks Film, another great creator here on YouTube. Absolutely check him out. Nice to see. Who's calling me? I'm on a stream. You're just going to have to go away, people. We're going to put this on Do Not Disturb. All right. Ariel says, so, okay, we're at 8:40. I think I can talk for, I'll give you guys another 20 minutes. So I'm planning on ending this at 9. And I already told you we got a new subscriber, so we've got plus 10 minutes. So right now the stream will end at 9:10. Is that too much? Let me think. It's like another 30 minutes. Okay. I have to do the math. I'm a horror creator, not a mathematician. Let's go with 9. So I would end it in 10 minutes because I'm about ready to call it good. But I'm going to put it to 9 because we did get a subscriber. So if we get any more subscribers, even though I was planning on ending it at 9, I will add another 10 minutes. So I'm throwing that out there. No pressure. But if you're not subscribed and you want the stream to be longer, that's a way to make it happen. All right, Robin. There's an out-of-print good Valentine's Day movie slasher called Lover's Lane starring Anna Faris. Really? I've never heard of this. The scenes were filmed where I live, and the barn was for a stunt. That's really cool. The Centennial 1977. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Thoughts on James A. Janice from Dead Meat? I think he's really awesome. James A. Janice, he helped us. He was one of the presenters on the Oscars this year over on Horror Addicts. Super nice guy. Has absolutely no pretenses whatsoever. He actually asked us for some questions as he was preparing for his awards show. So he was just really super nice, really chill, down to earth guy. Awesome. Thanks, Mandy. My friend Annie, my friend Martin, the anthropomorphic fiend, is here. Good to see you. I probably can't stay long, but I'm happy to be here. Awesome. In the Mouth of Madness and They Live. Absolutely agree on They Live. I still remember seeing that as a kid and loving it so much. That's another thing. Wrestling, it's so strange, but a lot of horror fans also love wrestling and vice versa. So if you have a wrestling friend, a friend who's into wrestling and they don't already love horror, not only are there a ton of horror movies that they would just probably love, but there are a ton of horror movies that star wrestlers like Roddy Piper and They Live. But there are so many more. I mean, Roddy Piper's also in Hell Comes to Frogtown, and that's just one wrestler. There are a lot more. In fact, I have a whole list of movies that star wrestlers over on my Letterboxd page if you want to check that out. Michael is gonna die and is not gonna die in Halloween Ends. I think they're gonna do what they typically do, where he dies, but it's not definitive. I'm kind of hoping Halloween Ends. My ideal ending would be it ends with Michael dying, but dying, and then you see a close-up of his mask and it says Silver Shamrock. I think that would be cool, and I'd love to see Season of the Witch, like, in canon, be tied to Michael Myers. I think that'd be really cool. Kevin wants to be a mod. Are you not a mod? Yeah, you're a mod. Like, everybody's a mod. It's cool though. It's cool because then, like, if I get a spammer, which is mostly what I need mods for, I've got a whole bunch of you who are on it. Why are you pleading, Jay? The cheetah. Okay, this is back when I was asking you guys if you want to be mods. And so there's a delay, guys. There's a delay with the chat, and I like to talk to all of you, so it does take me a while. But thank you guys for being patient. Martin, you don't have a wrench? No. Your photo, your drawing reminds me of one of the photos that my friend Annie has on her page. So when I saw your photo, I instantly thought of Annie, but no. I know it's you. I know it's you, Martin. But yeah, sometimes I'm reading these so quickly, I actually don't put it all together right away. Anyway, sorry about that, Martin. It is a moderator chat. But I'm ready. What if I get a spammer? I got all you guys ready. Yay, David Price! So cool that David Price watches my streams. It's like the coolest thing ever. Coop de Oof is gonna solve a mystery. The power should go to your head. It should. With great wrench power comes great responsibility. Look at all these mechanics. I'm proud of it. I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. I'm proud of it. They're all people that I trust to do some moderating. Will Smith the Slapper? Lost Boys has some comic vibes. I mean, like, the Frog Brothers are freaking... Yeah, I think Lost Boys... one that was recommended a lot. So I absolutely think that's a great intro to horror movie. David Price says, may I recommend The Movies That Made Us? Ghostbusters, Netflix, very good, funny. Yeah, the Movies That Made Us, that's the documentary on Netflix, right? I liked that a lot, though. I'm wondering did I see, no, I think I saw one called the toy. It was about toys on Netflix. I thought it was called something like The Toys That Made Us. But I'll have to check that out. I'm not sure if I've seen that one now that I think about it. Also, as far as documentaries go, I really like drawing a blank. In Search of Darkness, 1 and 2 were really good. Who's making Jay cry? Don't make Jay cry. Oh, Tears of Joy. Don't make Jay cry tears of joy. Don't make him cry any tears. No. Now we're going to have to, like, get a tissue for him or something. And I don't have any more tissues. Guys are making me do too much work. What 10 horror films should I watch? So, guys, this is Coop de Oof. He's a teenager, but he loves horror. And he's only seen the Scream franchise. So what are 10 essential films for Coop de Oof? Now, this is off the top of my head. But I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. You've seen Scream, so I'm going to let that one go. A Nightmare on Elm Street. The Lost Boys. Halloween. Some of these, it's like I want to introduce you to them, but I'm not sure which one in the franchise you should start with. Like essential horror. Help me out here. I think I want you to watch, instead of the first one, because you can jump right in, maybe Friday the 13th part 6. Because he's not even really in the first one that much, so you can watch it, but you'll get to it. Essential horror. I've got 4. I want you to watch a Chucky movie. So either 1 or Bride of Chucky. Either one of those you can start with. Got 5. Fright Night. You have to watch Fright Night. That's probably my favorite horror movie of all time. You gotta watch Fright Night. You like Scream, so I want you to see The Faculty. I'm making a lot of noises because I'm thinking any George Romero Dead film. So you can watch Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead. Those are the 2 I would recommend. Let's see, 2 more that would appeal to a teenager who likes Scream. Dun, dun, dun. I'm looking at my posters for ideas. Ooh, I want you to see The Final Girls. The Final Girls and Cabin in the Woods. All right, there's your 10. There's your 10. Got you all set. Martin says, I just watched The Craft again while sitting on my friend's religion and film class. That is so cool that they showed it in class. That's awesome. Did anyone mention Tales from the Crypt? That's another great one. I've actually been rewatching those with my son, and it's a lot of fun. Tales from the Dark Side, both the series and the movie. And same thing with the Tales from the Crypt movies, like Demon Knight, are really good, really fun. I'll be right back. Nice to see you again, High Ground Cantina. What are some of your favorite direct-to-video horror movies? I'm a big fan of Jack Frost and Castle Freak. I like Castle Freak. I am a big Full Moon fan. Not all of those are direct-to-video, but a lot of them are. My favorite direct-to-video, I like Uninvited. I think that's direct-to-video. I like The Dentist. I like Return of the Living Dead Part 3. That's a direct-to-video. And all the Leprechaun movies after Part 2 are direct-to-video, and with the exception of Origins, which was actually theatrical released, even though it's garbage. I like all those. What's my favorite direct-to-video? My absolute favorite. I'm going to say The Final Girls. I think it got shown at some festivals and stuff, but pretty much went straight to VOD, and I didn't get an opportunity to see it because it didn't get a mainstream release. So, of all time, I'm going to say The Final Girls. I love that movie. Cheetah, I scored a copy of Hocus Pocus. Nice. Yeah, I have that on Blu-ray. Adam Ward, I watched AMC every year when I had cable, and now I'm down bad because I've not seen it in years. Yeah, I don't think I ever watched that. I watched a lot of TNT and USA's Up All Night back when I was younger. They should remake more movies that had a good premise but a poor execution. Yeah, I feel like the studios, when they're looking to remake something, they look at things that they have in their catalog, that they have the rights to the IP to, and they look at things that made a lot of money. But I think it's better to look at things that had a really cool idea, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't fully realized, and it could have been done better. But that's just not often what they go for when they're remaking something, unfortunately. Horror Express is an excellent movie. Something based on Albert Fish. Albert Fish creeps me out. He's the serial killer who did some pretty horrible things to a little girl. How do you guys feel? Maybe we should have a stream where we talk about that. But movies that are based on actual killers, like a lot of things. I think I'm gonna do a stream maybe here on disturbing movies here. Maybe might be one of the next ones. But yeah, things like where they've really happened to people. For me, it's a little less fun, though. It's hard to say because I love Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and that's based on a real crime. But yeah, Albert Fish is one of those ones that just is really upsetting, I think. Which vampire movie has the best representation of Dracula? My favorite's going to be Bela Lugosi in the 1931? I don't remember what year it is, but in the Universal horror film one. Is it the best? I don't know. It's my favorite one of Dracula. I also really do like Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, but I still prefer the Bela Lugosi one. Did I see The Craft Legacy? I did. It had some questionable CGI in it. It could have been a lot better. It could have had, it could, they'd really missed the mark on what made the original Craft great, which was great characters and this idea of like, exploring magic together, which they don't really do a lot, and we don't really know much about any of the characters except for the main girl. But because I love witch stuff so much, I had a good time with it, and I even bought it. So I don't think it's terrible. I am very excited for the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, which are going to be shown on Shudder, so I'm excited for that. Kevin says, before I watched the Conjuring movies with my wife, I was like, but first let's watch these documentaries about the Warrens. Ed Warren was especially yeah, he's, and I don't want to speak poorly of dead people, but especially if you watch like his interviews and stuff, like he wasn't all that nice, and they don't have a lot of evidence to back up a lot of the things they do. And their most high profile case was the Amityville Horror, which the people who came up with that whole story admitted the whole thing was a hoax. So the real Warrens are pretty far removed from this very sweet, innocent, earnest portrayal that we see in those movies. I like those characters, but I just wish they would have given them a different name. Who's my favorite final girl? I know yours is from Evil Toons. You love Evil Toons. My favorite final girl will be Sydney Prescott in Scream. I love her. My cat is crying. And he's scratching the door, but he's just going to have to wait because we have another 6 minutes of stream. Unless we get another subscriber. Let me go take a look. We're at 1,934. Oh, we got 2 more subscribers. Okay, so we got 2 more. All right, then I guess I got to do another 20 minutes of stream. So 9:20. 9:20 is when we're ending. Every new subscriber, we get another 10 minutes. And the cat's just going to have to deal with it. Would I date Chucky or Brad Dourif? I would date Chucky. And I've talked about this with a friend before, but I mean, okay, so Chucky's anatomically correct, right? I'm a little curious what that looks like. I kind of want to know what Doll Dong looks like. I want to see that. And I like Chucky. Chucky seems like a pretty chill dude, you know? He just wants to hang out with somebody who doesn't mind that he kills people. And ideally could join him in his hobbies. So I'm not sure if I'm fully on board for the killing people thing. But yeah, I'd like to hang out with Chucky. He's all right. And Jay loved Ghostland. All right, here's Flixer's problem with Get Out. Not all whites have it as easy as most other races assume, and it's not about what is presented in the film, about how it's presented. His films are full of propaganda. I don't think they're full of propaganda. I think it's just a different point of view, and they're just trying to bring that to cinema. I don't think there was anything in that about necessarily hating on white people. I think it was just addressing how even liberal racism, racism where people mean well, they're not hateful, but they are just really focused on race, how that makes somebody uncomfortable. And I think with anybody, that would be the case. I mean, if I was talking to somebody and every other word out of their mouth was about me being a witch, I think it would be hard to have a conversation. I think that's what that movie was really trying to do. But I think even if you take all of that out of it, you have a really solid kind of Stepford Wives movie. So, yeah, but I mean, absolutely. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I know a lot of other people feel that way. Just for me personally, I think it's great. Martin says, I hope they bring Glenn Glenda back at some point. Seed of Chucky wasn't the best movie, but I adore that character. My mummy loves Glenn Glenda. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Seed of Chucky for the longest time, but she loves it so much that it's kind of making me come around to it. It's the only Chucky movie that I'm not, I just think some of the jokes don't really land. But I mean, it was progressive in a lot of ways. And like, it's like it's portrayal of like gender identity and stuff was kind of cool. I love Glenn though. Glenn Glenda is great. And I love Tiffany and stuff. It's mostly just some of the writing in that movie. But they really were trying to go with an ordinary people type parody type thing. So, oh, David wants to know this. Where did I get him from? I think I just got him from the Google. That's Boris, who's also, I named him after the puppet. He lets me know what's going on in the chat. Yeah, he's from somewhere in the Googles, but I can send him to you if you want. Let me know. I mean, put Hammer Blows about the Hellraiser thing, right? Student Bodies is a good spoof. Have Cheetah Will View. By the way, another great channel with great streams. Ah, did we just get 2 more subscribers? Sabathon! So we're at 1938. So that, wow. 1938. So that puts us at, wow. 940. Maybe I should make this down to 5 minutes. All right. Well, you know what? Maybe next time I'll do 5 minutes. But today I did promise 10 minutes per subscriber. So 940 it is. That's crazy. The Gray Man is based on Albert Fish. I actually have that movie. It's one of Danny's movies, but I haven't watched it yet. I can call you Annie if I... That reminds me of Bambi. You can call me Flower if you want to. See No Evil 2. Soska Sisters. Dark Side of the Ring. Another wrestling one that comes to mind is Monster Brawl. That's a really fun one. Also, WrestleManiac, which has Rey Mysterio Sr. in it. I'm sad Ginger did not live in it. Are we talking about Ginger Snaps? That makes me sad too. New Jack needs a horror movie. You're having chicken and mashed potatoes for dinner? That's awesome. Mandy says Halloween Ends should end with Jason coming out and fighting him to the death. It would make sense. It wouldn't make sense, but I'd like it. So here's my take on this, Mandy. So I have this whole theory that the Season of the Witch is the Silver Shamrocks, right? And at one point he even says, you show them the other masks. So there are more than 3 masks. And I think there have also been different masks in different like releases, every Halloween. So if you look at Michael, he kills his sister when he's wearing the clown mask. What if it was a Silver Shamrock mask? And most of the time when he kills people, he's wearing his Michael Myers mask. And he does seem to be more vulnerable when it's off. So I do think the mask gives him kind of like a supernatural ability. I mean, obviously he was already evil. He was already a killer. But yeah, I think there's some kind of supernatural property like that feeds on him killing people in the mask. And I think it would be really cool if this movie ended with that kind of reveal. And then they could move from there to like a kind of Season of the Witch show. Or even a new trilogy of movies. But if you do that, then you can even expand to other masked characters like Ghostface or Jason. And it would be awesome to get another versus movie. It'd be awesome to have Michael versus Ghostface or Michael versus Jason. I guess Jason makes more sense because he is just one person. But yeah, I think it would be super cool. There are like 2 people who aren't a mod here. That's true. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Everybody who wanted to be a mod is a mod. You're 5 years old for real? Well, then you're too young to be a mod. But I thought you were a teenager. I thought you were like 17. Like my son. Ariel, fun fact. The one actress who was in The Lost Boys, Jamie Gertz, played a TV mom on Still Standing. And my favorite sci-fi themed sitcom is The Neighbors. She was also in Twister. Tucker and Dale is great. Child's Play is great. Evil Dead 2 is great. These are what you're picking for Cooped Youth for Essential Horror. Yes, I forgot that. I'm going to say definitely need to watch an Evil Dead movie, and you really can't go wrong. 1, 2, or 3. 1, I would say, is more of a straight-up horror film, so probably 2, which is kind of a soft reboot, or 3, which is Army of Darkness. Yeah, I guess I'm going to say either Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness, but add one of those to your list. They're both amazing. And Army of Darkness does continue after Evil Dead 2, so just watch both of them. Just to get you started. Mandy recommends Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hatchet, Friday the 13th, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Those are all terrific. I did see Bride of Chucky before. As you know, I love Chucky. Throw some Universal monsters in there to round things out. Yeah, Bride of Frankenstein was so ahead of its time when it came out. It was just like the special effects, the story. I love Bride of Frankenstein. Yes, do your horror homework. Yes, the original Fright Night. I know a lot of people like the remake, but I think the original still holds up and it is the better movie. It's my favorite horror movie, so absolutely. Night of the Creeps. Now I want to mod. Let me see if I can find you. All right, there you go. You have to do your mod jobs. If anybody comes in here trolling, you guys got to get on that. Essential. Yes, the Omen. I love the Omen. I actually have, I don't know if you can see it from here. I think it's right behind me. I have the box set there. I love the Omen. I watched that pretty young and I still, like, I know now that the effect hasn't aged super well, I guess, but I still think it's awesome when the guy, the glass goes through his neck and his head just goes tumbling through the air. I love that part. And the part where they're at the zoo. There's so many creepy moments in there. And Mrs. Baylock and the giant dog. There's so many awesome things in there. And the kid is so good in that. The kid who plays Damien, he is so good. And my favorite part is the ending where he's at well, I won't tell you what happens in case you haven't seen it. My favorite part is the ending, and he turns back to the camera and he does this little smile that looks so evil, but it's so sweet. And the way the director did that is he was making a joke or something at him, and so that was a completely natural, real smile. But it's really, like, it's a creepy way to end the movie, but it's also just really cute when you know the story behind it. The Craft is a given. It has Nev Campbell and Skeet Ulrich in it. Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting too, because Scream started before Scream started after The Craft. Remember correctly. Yeah, Scream started before The Craft. Yes. And so when they did the Craft, they were looking for someone to play Chris Hooker, and Nev Campbell knew Skeet Ulrich because she was working with him on Scream, and that's how he got that one. Dawn of the Dead remake. I love that one. The Zack Snyder one. I think it's great. My Bloody Valentine 3D. Return of the Living Dead is a great one. Sandy highly recommends The Worst Witch. Tim Curry was the headmaster. The special effects were horrible, but the movie was a 10. Do I know? I haven't seen The Worst Witch. So it's like a kid's Halloween movie. I haven't seen that one. Let's see here. Crimson Peak recommends Ariel. In the same religion and film class, Martin watched The Witch, and my club is collaborating with them to watch The Lighthouse. That's so cool. Robert Eggers, he's been nailing it. I still haven't seen The Northman. I hope it's good, but I've heard good things. If I directed a horror pug film, what would the plot be? I'd have to really think about it. But yeah, anything off the top of my head is going to be something that's already been done before. I'm just going to rip off Uninvited. I want a pug that pukes up a smaller pug that kills people, but not on a boat. So I'm not copying Graydon Clark's Uninvited. It's going to be a pug that was experimented on. And when he gets threatened, he pukes up a smaller pug, which is cool because pugs are pretty small anyway. And then that little pug runs around all Trilogy of Terror style and bites people. Yes. In fact, I'm just going to call it Uninvited 2 because that's my favorite B movie. And so Uninvited 2 will star a pug. Boom. There is no way that Universal is not remaking the Rocky Horror Picture Show. No way, no how. Really? I don't think they should touch it. They did remake it. They remade it a while ago. They did like a TV movie. It wasn't Universal though, I don't think. I don't remember who did it, but they did remake it. Hey, Oddly Art. Good to see you too. Disturbing movie stream? Oh, really? Yeah, maybe I'll have you on for that, Jay, if you're game. Jay has a few channels. He's got a wrestling channel, Midcard Maniacs. He's got Bloodbath and Beyond, the new one, Bloodbath TV, which covers a little more than just horror. And then he also has a disturbing one called... What is your disturbing movies channel called, Jay? I have to go find out. What's it called? All right. I have to go look. Extreme Underground. That is a whole channel dedicated to disturbing movies, run by Jay from Bloodbath and Beyond. Learned Don Bluth was going to do a Dracula cartoon movie long ago. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Essential Slashers, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Friday the 13th 5, Halloween 6. Oh, wait, no, this is just a list. I'm sorry, I misread that. Okay, I'm going to start over. Essential Slashers, Child's Play, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Saw, Psycho, 7, and Scream. And X. Yeah, I think Saw is a good one to add on there too, especially the first one I think is really good. Yeah, Zombie Queen. I just told my brother to subscribe, laugh out loud. Let me see. Okay. The 10 minutes is scaring me. Okay, so no, we still are at 1,938. So 940. 940 is when I'm ending the stream. 940 on the dot. Unless you get another subscriber. And then I will add 10 minutes per subscriber. So we'll see. Let's see. 1,938. We're still at 1,938. Nice. Yeah, I talked about the Chucky TV series just a little while ago, and I'm super excited for season 2. Hey, Cloned Hand Luke, nice to see you. Night of the Creeps is definitely essential horror. I think Night of the Creeps pairs really well with Slither, too. That's a really good one. The Sosa Sisters. And I'm way behind in the chat. What's that movie with the killer luchador? That would be WrestleManiac. Another essential, Christine. David Price, guess what? I actually have the actual Christine's tire autograph. I'm going to show you guys really quick because I've met her. All right, if you can see it, it's right there, right below her license plate. But I have her tire autograph and I've met her. And the guy who owns her now, Bill Gibson, he had her basically made from parts from a lot of the cars used in the film. And she even talks now like Kit. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad you have air conditioning. Ooh, I love Nightbreed. Nightbreed helped me with knowing my trans identity. It was very cathartic for me. Have you ever had an experience with horror that opened your mind to new ideas? Get Out was one that I mean, obviously I knew about, racism and stuff, but I had never really thought about like when somebody isn't being hateful, but they are being racist. And I didn't really know that there was like a word for it, liberal racism. And Get Out opened me up to that. So that was interesting. Horror movie though that opened my mind to new ideas. I think the most eye-opening horror movie for me would be The Voices. I do have a friend who has mild schizophrenia, and they have explained to me a little bit of what it's like, but I still didn't quite understand it. And mostly, I didn't understand why somebody who had something like schizophrenia wouldn't want to take their medication, because to me, it would just seem like it'd be really scary to have visions and stuff, to see things that aren't there. And then I watched The Voices, and he sees everything in this like beautiful, like pinks, and it's so clean, and it looks like something out of the 50s. Like everything is so vibrant and beautiful without his medication. Like his hallucinations and things are largely pleasant. His house looks really nice, and he's lonely. But because of his schizophrenia, he hears the voices of his cat, who is a little homicidal, and his dog, who's a good boy, talking to him. So he's also never lonely. And then obviously it it goes into a dark place because it's a horror movie, but Ryan Reynolds is so good in it. But yeah, that movie did really open up my eyes as to why somebody with living with a disorder like that would not want their medication, because there are sometimes good aspects to it too. Like he says his mom the character's mom says that she saw her hallucinations as angels. So yeah, I guess that would be the most eye-opening one. Like it really made me think about a lot of things I'd never thought about before, which is awesome. Because I just think it's good for us to get new perspectives on things. High Ground Cantina. Halloween Ends will introduce Cult of Thorns Silver Shamrock Hybrid. Do you know this for certain? Because I think that's amazing. Can I be among us? I don't know. You said you're 5 years old, Coop de Oof. I need confirmation that you're not 5 years old. Thank you. Yes, please do hit that like button. It pleases the algorithm gods. And, it just gets this little channel that one step closer to monetization. Let me take a look. So I'm at 1,716 public watch hours. I need 4,000. 4,000! So if you guys get bored and you want to watch some stuff on YouTube about horror, I have a lot of videos. Check them out. Help me get that watch time. I loved Hellevator. So horror game shows. There's a camp one. I can't remember what that one was called, but it was really good. Hellevator was fun. I really wanted to be on that one. I think that would be super cool. I think we applied, but obviously we didn't get called back. And I think my favorite all-time horror game show was Scream Queens. Has the same name as that other show with like Emma Roberts in it, but it was a game show. And I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was in Saw. She hosted it, and you had to go through all these trials like you would if you were a final girl in a movie, and then the winner got a small part in the next Saw movie. You never won Among Us? I'm so sorry. Christine is a bitch, but that movie is bitchin'. I agree. Oh, thanks, High Ground Cantina. That makes me super happy. I feel a little bad because I feel like my energy's a little bit lower than usual, but I'm glad that everyone's having a good time. Hopefully, I'm fielding your questions well and giving good answers, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the conversation, because that's what these horror hangouts are. I mean, a lot of times I have guests on the show, and they're primarily my focus because I feel like I've invited them to my home, and I want them to have a good time and be comfortable. But with these horror hangouts, you guys are entirely my focus, and it's just awesome to get to know you guys better, learn more about why you love horror and the movies you like, and especially when we disagree, because I think that helps me to get new perspectives on things. So yeah, I really like it. Adam says, even though this isn't straight up horror, Big Trouble in Little China. That's a good one. Where did it go? I got a little figure for Big Trouble in Little China in a bandbox recently. It's like Chinese cinema where they blend all genres: action, adventure, comedy, horror, romance. I love that. I call that like the full meal deal of horror, or you can even say like the full Monty. I love movies that pack in as many different genres and do it successfully as possible. So I love Cabin in the Woods. My favorite show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think if you can Shaun of the Dead, if you can successfully blend like horror, action, comedy, romance, you're getting so much more, I guess, than you would get from a movie that's just horror and stuff. And I think for some topics and stuff, you need to just be horror. I mentioned Henry Portrait's Serial Killer a lot, which I think is a masterpiece. That movie wouldn't work with a lot of comedy or anything else in it because it's such serious subject matter. It can only be one thing. But especially when you're going for more of a fun film, something like Scream, I think it does help. I think it does help to bring in these different genres and borrow like the best aspects of them. Land of the Dead is your favorite zombie movie. That's cool. I'd love to hear why. My favorite zombie movie would probably be Night of the Living Dead. I love Night of the Living Dead. David Price says, I used to be Richard Donner's assistant on The Omen. That is so cool. See, I love Lady Hawk. On Toy and Lady Hawk, he also did that Twilight Zone you liked. That is so cool. That is so cool. David Price, when are you going to come on a stream and hang out with me? I bought a stogie to hang out with you and Mark Jones. Or just you whenever you're available. So you have my email. And I think I emailed you. If you ever want to come on the show and hang out with me, that would be super cool. I think the chat will love it. Mandy says, so Nev Campbell knew a... Wait, what? Okay, I don't understand that one, so I'm going to move on. Adam Ward says, thank you for sharing about your experience in Nightbreed. I will examine that with a different lens when I rewatch. It's really amazing. Yeah, that was really cool to hear. It's really cool to see how, like, horror movies resonate with different people. And I think, I think movies and art have the power to give us strength and perspective and to open our eyes and make life just a little more meaningful. And I think horror movies are absolutely a part of that. And some of my favorite horror movies that have resonated with me the most, or my favorite movies, I mean, are horror. A pug pukes up a slightly uglier pug that kills. I love it. Yes. And you know what? There are these big horror movies. There are these big movies, but sometimes I just want to watch something cheesy. Sometimes I just want to watch something where the only reason I'm watching it is to have fun with it and you know, make fun of it to a degree. But yeah, you know, I like everything horror. I like everything from the really serious, disturbing stuff to kids stuff to cheesy stuff, paranormal, found footage. I like everything horror. So I think they all have their place, and it's just like food. I mean, I love chocolate, but I don't want chocolate for every meal of every day. Just like I don't want to watch a cheesy movie every day. Sometimes I want to watch something more meaningful. Sometimes I really want to be shaken to my core. And so I'll watch something disturbing. And yeah, I mean, it just depends. It depends on what your mood is. But just like food, there's something for that situation. There's always something. Speaking of disturbing movies, kind of an accessible disturbing movie if you're getting into disturbing movies, I would say The Green Inferno, because it's not as intense as Cannibal Holocaust, but it's kind of the same idea, but way more toned down. But yeah, I like The Green Inferno a lot. I like Eli Roth. I got the hiccups. It's still my first time here. It is not your first time here. You've been in the Grey Hall many times. Yes, Extreme Underground. I found it. I'm a Bloodbath and Beyond fan girl. I've subscribed to the whole Bloodbath Beyond collection. If he gets a streaming service that has all his channels, I'll probably sign up for it because I watch Bloodbath and Beyond. I watch Bloodbath TV. I watch the Extreme Underground. I watch Midcard Maniacs because I like me some wrestling. Do you have other channels? I think that's it. Deep cut here. I've even, and I can't remember the name of it. I've even seen Jay's old channel where he does like nerdy rapping. That's pretty cool. I do like that. So gory. Everyone thinks I'm weird because I like boobs. Who doesn't like boobs? All like babies like boobs because, you know, the breastfeeding. I like boobs. Boobs are squishy. Boobs are a good metaphor for life. Like when you push a boob down, the boob bounces right up. And I think like the pressure of life feels like we're a boob being pushed down, but you know, we can use the strength of our inner boob powers and bounce right back up. So yeah, boobs are important. Boobs are nice to look at. Boobs are nice to have. They're squishy. They make hugging better. I really see nothing wrong with boobs. If you guys don't like boobs, you'll have to let me know why, because regardless of whether or not you find them sexually attractive, I just think they're wonderful things. I don't know. Let me know if you don't like boobs, why? That was a huge rant about boobs. I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. Okay, where are we at? 9:21. And we're going till 9:40. All right, yeah, next time I might just do 5 minutes. But I promised you guys 10, and I'm a woman of my word. All right, we're still at 1,938. Okay, if I get more subscribers, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I'm making this a subathon. So yeah, you have my word. For every new subscriber, we will add 10 minutes to the stream. So right now we're going to end at 9:40. I have 1,938 subscribers. And I super appreciate it. I mean, I just think it's awesome that anybody would want to watch my streams or my videos. So yeah, it's a huge honor, even though it may not be the biggest channel. I think the audience here and in the gory hole, like chatting with you guys, it's just awesome. It's so much fun. Kevin says he also has a new channel, Just Jay, where he watches no freaking way. What? I'm looking this up. What the hell is this shit? Just Jay. What? Where is it? Did he get a new channel and I didn't know about it? No, that's not him. No. I'm not seeing it. Jay, do you have a new channel called Just Jay? If you do, let me know. I need to find this. Okay. Butt demons. My son's afraid of butt demons. It's 9/11. It was 9/11. Now it's 9/23. Stay safe, everyone. Okay, confirmation. I'm not 5 years old. I'm 13 years old and I sound like a baby. I'm going to say you need to be at least 16 years old to be a mod. That's I'm putting my foot down. I mean, you're still my adopted godson of horror, but I'm not going to let you be a mod unless you're 16. There's a movie called Clean Shaven. It's a movie about schizophrenia. I thought it was really well done. I saw a movie called The Close Shave. It's an early Martin. I think it's Martin Scorsese. It's a short. That one's pretty good. Do jumping spiders fart? I'm glad you asked that, Zigma. So I have two pet jumping spiders, Renfield and Ichabod. Jumping spiders do poop. It looks a little like bird poop. Their bodies are mostly liquid, though, so I don't know if they have any air in their bodies. However, they do breathe. And I would assume that anything that breathes eventually might fart. So I'm going to say it's possible. It's possible. But if they do, it's super small, and I've never heard or smelt anything. Ariel says, I watched B movies when I was a kid. And do they have a killer boob movie? I'm glad you asked. So this is one of my favorite games to play. I used to work at a video store, and it was my favorite thing. And a lot of my customers got used to asking me, like, do they have a movie about this? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, they do. I can pretty much find you a movie about just about anything. They do have a killer boob movie. It's called Killer Rack. So this girl feels insecure and she gets a breast implant job thing done. And then the boobs are evil and they eat people and it's a musical. Oh my God, you love musicals. You're going to love this movie so much, Ariel. It's called Killer Rack. Check it out. You're going to love it. Night of the Living Dead is your favorite burial ground. You know, I only recently saw Burial Ground when it premiered on the last drive-in. That movie is awesome. And young Robert Englund in it. Let's do it. Yes! Okay, did you guys see that? David Price said that he's going to be on the stream. David freaking Price, guys. Yes! That's so cool. I'm excited. Okay. My favorite zombie movie is 28 Days Later. I think that's a really good one. I like that one, but unpopular opinion, I think I like 28 Weeks Later more. That movie's just so intense and crazy. What would my butt demon movie be like? What would my butt demon movie be like? I think Bad Milo really nailed it as far as butt demons go. Bad Milo was a great movie. But I did see a short on The Boys where a girl had the ability to like control poop. And she was voiced by Awkwafina. So maybe a butt demon movie where a little demon would come out of somebody's butt, but they'd be a minion kind of like in Subspecies and they would do whatever you want. So like, you can use it for anything. I mean, you can use it for like vengeance, but also if you couldn't reach the remote, you could pop out your butt demon and it could go get it for you, bring the remote, and then right back on in. You know, so honestly, my butt demon movie is probably going to be more like an X-Men film. And I'm okay with that. When a Stranger Calls the original is really good. I agree. Yes. Adam says, Gory, I would love to see you do a video essay on elevated horror and where it stems from. Could you break down the history of horror and that elevated horror isn't new? It 100% isn't new. As long as there's been horror, there's been elevated horror. I really don't like the term elevated horror just because by definition it's saying it's better than other horror movies, and I think all horror movies have their place. I think it should be called thematic horror. And that goes way back. But absolutely, that might be something that I'll do. Because, yeah, elevated horror has been around a long time. Thoughts on moobs? Moobs are like man boobs, right? I think I like them too, because they're also squishy. They don't pop up as easily as other boobs typically. But that doesn't mean we don't like them any less. What I do like is they're usually furrier. So they're more like small cats. I like moobs and I like boobs. I'm a fan of both. It's 9:23. No, it's just called J Bond. Oh, it's just, I think, yeah, that's the one that has his rapping on it, isn't it? That is not Jay. That's some weird little dude who owns a real estate group. Dude, you are not my J Bond. Cancel you. That's my friend Jay. What the crap? Getting new channels and not telling me anything? What the hell is this shit? What the actual fuck? He watched Clue and I didn't know? What the hell is Jay doing behind my back? Watching John Wick 3? What the fuck? It's like my whole life's a lie. Watch The Breakfast Club. Your first time watching Breakfast Club was 3 weeks ago and I'm finding out about this now? It's fine. We're still friends. Though, I would tell you if I had a new channel, but whatever, Jay. Whatever, Jay. Anyway, oh my god, okay, guys, I have 1 billion moderators. How come there's a sexy chat adult dating thing in here? There's like 1 billion of you guys. Okay, someone's getting it. All right, we need to go to the sexy chat people and report them. Because they suck. Yeah. Report them. All right, mods, get them. Get them, mods. Get them. I have like 1 billion of you. Go get them. Bad Milo is the best butt demon movie ever. I agree. Don't the boobs in Killer Rack grow when they eat too? They do indeed. They actually have actual teeth, which is pretty rad. There are also killer boobs that don't necessarily have teeth. Like I like the Phantasm Ball boobs. Big fan of Phantasm Ball boobs and Phantasm 3. I like the 6 boobs. The 6 boobs in Necropolis. Necropolis, more people need to see Necropolis, but definitely the 6 boob lady was pretty rad. If we could talk about boobs all day though, guys, you guys are probably bored about hearing about boobs. I'll move on. Dead and Buried, that is Robert Englund. Burial Ground is an Italian zombie movie. Coop D'Oof said, who said I meant Mod 1? I meant Among Us Imposter. Eggman from Sonic. Then there's a bunch of spamming. I love how Scream 5 pokes fun at elevated horror. I hated it. I love the Babadook. I think the Babadook is a good kind of exploration of grief. But not every horror movie is supposed to resonate with every person. That might not be something that you want to see a movie about, or it might not be done in a way that's going to resonate with you. And that's entirely freaking okay. It's entirely okay. So it's cool that you don't like the Babadook. Yeah, get him! Get him! Get him, mods! Get the spammers! Oh no! Bloodbath and Beyond took care of it. See, I knew it. I knew it was good to have all you mods. Let me see. Oh no. All right. There we go. Now I've lost my chat. Okay. Gonna mute that. Okay. Phantasm boobs are great. Tats hilarious. I like that. Tits hilarious. Tits very hilarious. Did I actually catch up with the chat? No freaking way. That's awesome. What the hell? Yeah, we had a spammer. Dark and the Wicked is a good film about grief. And I'm finally caught up. Speaking of Phantasm, what's your favorite one in the franchise? And it's always fun to watch the films during summer. Phantasm 1's my favorite. Okay, one. You have Goo. You have Jawas. You have the tall man. You have the tall man turning into a hot chick and then boning a dude's brother. You have a weird bat creature thing. I love creature features. Finger in a box. Psychics. Ice cream men. Phantasm has it all. I like it. I'm gonna say that's my favorite, but I genuinely enjoy the whole franchise. But yeah, the first one, it's just like a nightmare. It feels exactly like a nightmare when you wake up and you've had a nightmare and it doesn't all entirely make sense, but you have this really creepy feeling. That's what watching Phantasm is like. And every time I finish it, maybe I don't understand Phantasm in its full entirety, but it's more about how it makes you feel than the plot. And that movie it has that nightmare feeling to it that I love. And it's got cool Christmassy ornaments in it. So yeah, Phantasm 3 though, she has these for boobs, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So these things, if you haven't seen Phantasm, they go into your head and then they do like a squirty blood thing. They're pretty cool. They're sentinels, I think. I feel like a goddamn hero. You took care of the spammer. That's awesome. I totally forgive you for not telling me about your channel. Best body horror films. Cronenberg's the way to go with body horror, I would say. I think The Fly is a great body horror. The Brood is a great body horror. What do you guys recommend for body horror? I think Ginger Snaps to a degree is body horror, even though it's about werewolves, because it deals with so much stuff about teenagers and puberty and stuff. I would say it works. I mean, she gets a tail, guys. She gets a tail. Oh, that reminds me of some other different kinds of boobs. If you watch American Wolf in Paris, now it's not a great movie, but I'm just saying this from a boob perspective, you do get to see werewolf boobs, and I think she's got like 6 boobs in that too. I'm kind of an expert on movies that have cool boobs. I'm also, not everyone's into this, but I'm also an expert on movies that have cool dongs. Is it almost 9:40? All right, 5 minutes until 9:40. Ariel, you're so good, like keeping me on track. I start to ramble and just talk about boobs and stuff. Oh, I was gonna bring you guys something today too. So funny story. Did I even bring it? I don't think I did. Funny story. So my mom, she's really into like rocks and gems lately, and she bought what she thought was a tiny snail to put on her phone. Some kind of rock that you like rub it and it gives you like good energy, which is cool. I'm all about that. But where is it? I kind of want to show you guys. I'll have to show you in the next stream. She shows it to me. Did I forget it? I really wanted to show you guys. Anyway, I'm going to show you in the next stream. She shows it to me, and I'm like, that's not a snail. It's a dong. It is a full-on dong. It's got testicles and everything. And she's like, no. Well, my mom's eyesight's really bad. So, she does eventually see that it's a dong, but it's cool because, she doesn't want it. And then I got a free dong that apparently if you rub it, gives you like good healing energy. So, now that I have this dong to rub all the time, I'm probably pretty healthy. All right, let's see. Probably actually lost a subscriber after that rant. Let's see. No, we're good. We're good. I didn't turn you guys off enough to unsubscribe. Maybe I should draw a phantasm orb next but meaty. I like that. What's your favorite obscure horror movie that you found out at a biddy store based on the cover art? Mine is Ice Cream Man. Probably The Dentist. I remember The Dentist being like seeing that and wanting to check it out and liking it. I also liked Return of the Living Dead 3. That was one that I liked the box art on. I would love a Phantasm bikini or bra. That would be the coolest. Like somebody design that and just take my money. That'd be the coolest. Yeah, Brood is a good one. Brood is really good. Also, I think Alien. Especially because, you know, the aliens go into your body and they burst out. It's almost like kind of like a metaphor for like pregnancy. When I was pregnant, I saw that and it freaked me out. So I think Aliens got some body horror in it for sure. Baskin, that is a good one. Can we get Kafka body horror film? Oh, like Metamorphosis? That's pretty cool. I would love to see that done like really well in a movie. I've seen a couple shorts and stuff, but a full-length movie would be cool. Howard the Duck. I love Howard the Duck so much. It's awesome. Okay, so Adam Ward, yes, I like how you described it as classic fever dream surreal. That's entirely what I meant. Agree 100%. Phantasm 2, the big budget one. Yes, it's super fun. Phantasm 3, super goofy fun one. It has Phantasm boobs in it. Phantasm 4, art house independent film. Agreed. Phantasm 5, fan lover franchise. And 100%. Adam Ward, you need to make a video on this because you nailed it. You nailed it. Perfection. Love it. Everything about it. Okay, Ariel. I love you, Ariel. You're the best. You always have the best comments. Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde is a body horror because who loves Sean Young in black lingerie? Is it a body horror? Well, maybe because she also turns into a dude, maybe, or a dude that turns into... I don't know. I'm willing to say yes, because you're a smart cookie. We do too talk about Howard the Duck. I have it on Blu-ray, but I might upgrade that puppy to 4K. Like, I kind of wish it was more like the comics, because I love the Howard the Duck comics. They're so funny, and it's all like existentialism and stuff. But I watched that movie as a kid, like the Howard the Duck movie, and I just love it. It's just goofy fun, and I love it. And it's got horror elements in it. Like when the principal from Ferris Bueller's in it, and his eyes get all crazy. That's some definite horror in there. Yes, Adam Ward, you and me, same page. Stay tuned, Adam Ward. I think you just got another... Nuh-uh. Let me see. No way! That's so cool. Thanks, guys. So I'm at 1,939. So now we go into 950. 950. All right, you're lucky. You're lucky, because I was about ready to call it good at 940. Adam says, thank you, Gory. I've been thinking about making horror video essays and starting a channel. 100%, Adam. You're really intelligent. I really like your takes on horror and how you enjoy exploring the metaphor of it. So 100%, you should do it. I, for one, would watch. I'm caught up on the chat. Are you guys even, is there anyone watching? Is anyone watching? Let me see. Oh yeah, there's 23 of you watching. Jeffrey Jones. Yes, Jay from Howard the Duck scared me and I found out he's in jail for... No. Oh no, I don't like that. Yeah, in that movie, he almost kind of reminds me of Dr. Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He's just creepy in that. Kirby, what do you want? Come on, baby. Come on. Come on in. Everybody else is in here. So in this tiny room, we now have, count them, 2 dogs, 2 pet jumping spiders, and 1 orange tabby cat. And 1 witch. So we have a lot of animals in this room. Kirby, do you want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Okay. All right. All right. So say hi to everybody. So Kirby, great suggestion. Kirby says we need to have a whole stream on horror cats. We're talking Church from Pet Cemetery, General from Cat's Eye, Clovis from Sleepwalkers, Uninvited. His name's like Lot something or other, but he's great. Or she. I actually don't know how the cat in that movie identifies. Okay. Oh, no jail. I like Howard the Duck. Am I able to watch a movie as a group here? I can watch movies as a group over on Cast. On YouTube, it's a little tricky because YouTube is pretty big about copyright. So in the past, I used to do that, and they would get taken down. I'm sad about Jeffrey Jones. I love cats. Do you guys want to have a whole horror cat stream? So I've been thinking of things for upcoming streams. I really want to do a disturbing horror hangout with you guys. I might just do that as a separate stream too. I mean, horror hangout with the exception of like when Tony came over here and hung out with me. I don't usually have guests because I just want to focus on what you guys are saying. But I might have to do a stream and see if Jay wants to come on for that because he knows his disturbing horror movies. We should do at least creature features, if not killer cat movies. Thank you, Adam. I have 2 doggos. So there's Brocky, and then my dog who's named after Fright Night, Brewster, as in You're So Cool, Brewster, is right over there. And then I have 2 spiders. Hi, guys. There's a lot of animals in here. I love Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yes to horror cats theme. All right. All right, let me get a vote from you. I might put this on Twitter. I might put this on Twitter too. But for right now, can I put a poll in the chat? That's so cool. All right. I'm putting this in the chat. What should the next hangout be? It's going to be disturbing horror. Horror cats. Did I mention any other ones? And I want to have a third option. Kirby, now you want out? No way, dude. You're stuck in here. And I'm just going to throw in... We're going to talk about... Eventually, I want to do one about, like, witchcraft movies. So, which movies? You guys want a best boobs? Okay, how about this? All right, because you suggested it, I'm going to say body part horror. Because it's not just boobs and dongs. Like, I also know movies with killer hands, killer eyes. Oh, I've seen so many killer body part movies. All right, so here you go, guys. In the chat, while I let Kirby out, you guys should have a poll in there. Yeah, there you go. Vote on what our next hangout will be. And I'm going to come back with an update on that. All right, Kirby. You're free to go, baby. Okay, so you guys get a vote on what the general theme of our next hangout will be. So I'm going to give you guys an update. So I usually do these horror hangouts every week. This time, I sadly will not be here next Saturday. I will be at Seattle Crypticon for the weekend, but we will have a stream. I'm going to do a stream during the week, probably giving you guys like a recap of Crypticon, and hopefully I'll film some stuff at Crypticon. So not next week, but the week after, we'll do whatever you guys vote on. So that would be the 28th. The 28th will be the next one. History of Elevated Horror. For History of Elevated Horror, because Hangouts is usually more like I want your guys' takes, then I give you my takes and stuff, and we talk. I think I might just do a video on that or do something with a guest. Kind of more like I did when we did like Black Horror on here. I also want to do another, like, I have a lot of stuff planned with guests coming up. I think it'll be more something like that or just a video essay. If I do a horror cat stream, dress up Kirby. Does Kirby have any outfits? Let me think. My dogs do. My dogs have Ghostbuster outfits, Star Wars outfits, turtle outfit. I don't think Kirby has any outfits. All right, Adam says, it's funny that you're mentioning Stephen King films. I was about to ask you about your favorite Stephen King films and least favorite. You know what? Stephen King is a whole stream on its own. So we've got 3 suggestions for this one, but maybe that's what we'll start doing, guys. Maybe when you come to the stream, if you make it at the end, we'll do a poll for the next one. I'm going to write that down, though. That's a good idea, because I would love to hear, I mean, a big part of these streams, it's like, when I have a guest on here, I want to get to know them better, because usually they're my friends, and, you know, I want to get, you know, pay attention to them. But with these ones, I'm kind of talking to all of you guys, and I want to, I remember you. I want to know what your favorite movies are, what your recommendations are, how you got into horror. Hey, there's somebody new here. Robert the Wolfman, hey. Doesn't Discord have a watch party feature? I do have a Discord room. I'm not on there as much as I would like to be, but I do have a gory hole on Discord. What do you guys want to watch? Live streaming Slumber Party. I'm on Cast, and I have a room in Cast. Gory B Movie Night. So usually when I have watch parties, like for Patreon and stuff, I do it on Cast. But if you guys know of another option that works better than Cast, let me know. Don't forget History of Elevated Horror. Yeah, I think I'm going to do like some kind of essay for that. It's almost 9:50. So what is 9:50? You're correct. Ariel is so on it. Are we going to get to 1,940? I actually lost a subscriber. Oh, now my feelings are hurt. I'm going to cry now. Okay. Well, since I lost a subscriber, I'm still going to go to 950, but then I'm going to cry after the stream and probably eat ice cream. And then I'm going to watch J Bond's new channel and find out what he thought about John Wick 3 and The Breakfast Club, because he's making channels behind my back. So, guess my night's planned. Anyway, I cannot wait. So at Crypticon, guys, I'm so excited because I'm a big karaoke fan. Crypticon, they have Scarioke. So they have so many songs you don't find at normal karaoke bars, like Concrete Blonde and stuff. So excited. Adam Ward. Actually, Adam, I think for the elevated horror thing, or if you're on Twitter, DM me. I think I would love to do, if I do a stream, I think I would love to make a stream with a guest. If you're game and you want to talk about elevated horror with me, let's do a stream. DM me. Twitter is usually the best way to get a hold of me, or email. Yeah, I think I might want to do both. Maybe do a stream and hang out with you, but also a video essay, because that's why I like all the gory details and such, because I love to do the research because I'm kind of a nerd. So the special effects makeup artist who did all 3 Leprechaun movies in TMC, he worked with Caroline Williams. Yes, that's Gabriel Bartelis. Yeah, he did the first 6 Leprechaun movies. Hey, Annie. Okay, there's Annie. Tell Danny I said hi too, Gory. I will certainly try. Ice cream sounds good. I want a drumstick right now. I know, right? Yeah, yeah, it sounds really good. Let's see. I'm sad I lost a subscriber. I know it wasn't any of you guys, because you guys are like ride or die gory holders. Like, you guys wouldn't do that to me. I just know you wouldn't. It's probably some guy on the internet who like subscribed for all the wrong reasons and then came on here, heard me talking about boobs, and jumped ship. And you know what? If they're gonna jump ship over the boobs, I don't know if they should stay here, because I talk about a lot of weird shit on the show. All right, how's my poll doing? Where is my poll? Is that it? You guys are awesome. Wow. I did not expect that, but okay, before we call it a night, because it's 9:50 now, I'm going to do one last check to see if we got new subscribers. Let's see. All right, it's still the same. Okay, so our next stream, based on your votes, is Horror Cats. This makes me very happy, because I'm going to get to talk about one of my favorite movies, Uninvited. Horror Cats. So that's going to be, let's see, yeah, I'll be gone all next weekend, so it can't be next weekend. It's also my birthday next week, so stay tuned. Hit that bell, because my birthday is on Tuesday. I might do kind of a pop-up stream or something. I haven't decided yet, but, hit the bell and then And then if you're not busy, and I'm not busy, and I'm streaming, we can hang out. So Horror Cats will be on the 28th. Same gory time, same gory place, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Horror Cats, you and me, Saturday, the 28th. Be there with your whiskers on. All right, I'm ending the poll. I did not think that was going to win. Who thought that was going to win? I didn't think that was going to win. But I'm happy. I'm happy that it did. All right, so let's wrap things up here. a horror cat show together. That sounds awesome. Obviously, somebody hates fun. Night, gory, and all. Horror cats. Church is my pick. Yeah, okay, so come prepared. I want your because I love horror cat movies. We're going to talk about horror cat movies like Strays, Sleepwalkers. We're going to talk about our favorite cats in horror movies like Church and General and Clovis. It's going to be fun. And obviously, it's Horror Hangout. You guys can come with your own topics and your own questions, and we're going to get off topic, and it's going to be fun because it's what we do here. Awesome. Jay, thank you so much for coming by. That's awesome. I'm going to check out your new channel. And tomorrow is the Billboard Music Awards. Yay, David Price. I'm so happy that you come and watch my streams. It's the coolest. Thank you. Yay. And hopefully, guys, David Price will be on a stream here soon so we can pick his brain about all of his awesome films. I am so excited. Super excited. Thank you. Yeah, my birthday is on the 17th. So, yeah, we might talk about cool movies from the year I was born, 1981. I don't know. I think that might be a fun stream. Thanks, Jay. All right, guys. So next stream will be on May 28th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. And until we meet again, blessed be.